All right, let's run this intro back one more time. Thank you, everybody, for hanging in there. This is show number 14 of Press What to Join. Tonight, we have a extra special show for you. We have our guest cbgray on to talk Destiny 2, to eat some spicy hot chocolate, and help support a great cause. We're going to be picking his brain about streaming, content creation, talking a little bit of shop. We know we got a lot of young content creators in our community, so wanted to also get his opinion on a lot of things that way. We'll be talking about our Gamer Fit Challenge in our community Discord. We'll be doing a speed round of questions to see how much we can make him sweat, and a whole lot more. That's right. CB did not know what he was getting into, but we are super excited to have him. And I got a special introduction for you, so we're going to get right into that and then introduce our crew, right? But cbgray is one of gaming's most positive, energetic, and helpful streamers in the Destiny 2 community and beyond. Right? He's known for his outstanding community engagement and single-handedly making tinfoil hats fashionable. He's dedicated full weeks to raid help, closely monitors the approaching Dorito ships, and basically streams every day from what I've seen on YouTube and Twitch. Introducing cbgray, welcome to the show.
And thank you guys for having me. I want to start off before you guys. I know you guys are going to introduce yourselves as well. I just want to say thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. I've loved the things that you guys do. I went back and watched, and you guys are 14 episodes in. I look forward to seeing 140 more. You guys are amazing. Thank you guys for having me. Let's have some fun. If I die,
it's not our fault. Disclaimer, it's not my fault. I just sent him the chocolate. It's not my fault.
Just know if I die, I love you guys. Thank you. Let's have some fun tonight. Yeah, and seriously, I'm just a pleasure to be on. Thank you.
Yeah. Excellent. And we can't forget about the rest of the crew. I am Autonomy. We also have GMD Geek.
What's up, everybody?
We got Hurt Locker.
Yeah,
we got Angle of Death.
¿Qué pasa?
And we have Unforsaken Jay.
I am joining CV for this one.
Right.
Thank you, everyone.
Excellent, guys. Well, welcome to the weekend. How has the week been?
Long, but great but long. In terms of work is long. We've been on this 6-month project with the Air Force, so that's been kind of cool. But kind of accepted some extra responsibilities, so it's been an adjustment, kind of learning on that front. But in terms of Destiny, every day playing Destiny with the community is a good day. So
yeah, I mean, CB, one of the things to kick off here too, right, is how do you manage that time commitment? I was looking back at your content. You stream on YouTube and Twitch every day, and also just as a quick congrats here, I saw you post about how you hit 4K Twitch followers in basically a short time period. You're almost at 5K already. Your growth is that awesome.
Oh, thank you. How I do it? It's the people. Everybody's here. I just love the community we have so much. And I can be exhausted at work all day because I do work sometimes 5 or sometimes even 6 days. Sometimes I have to work on the weekends to kind of play catch up. But the second that I stop working and start streaming, it's just I'm always just filled with life and energy that I can't explain where it comes from, because there's a lot of times during the day. Yeah. It's like you said, 7 days a week. So I'm only human. So I do get tired. But there's something about this community and just, hanging out with everybody and just all the friendly faces and the positivity and the fun and the laughs. It's energizing. It really keeps me going. It gives me something to look forward to every single day. And I don't know, it's made me a better person. Just everybody that kind of hangs out every day and just makes me want to be better. And just, I don't know, it's everybody else. I got to give credit to everybody else. It's nothing that I'm doing. I'm nothing special.
How did you feel?
The secret's in the Doritos, guys.
Yeah.
It's the Doritos. It's the Doritos.
I was off streaming the other night, and all of a sudden I heard, holy crap, thanks Glad for the raid. And then I heard Sweats, thanks for the raid. How did you feel? Just all of a sudden I just heard, it was just nonstop. I was just like, what happened over here? And I was just like, oh man.
It's humbling, man. That's never anything, somebody's got to do. So it's when somebody, extends their community out to you, especially, just out of the blue, so randomly and just kind of just so, I don't know. It was real humbling, and just how supportive everybody was and how everybody hung out all night. And it was a really kind of surreal experience. Just want to say thank you again to them. And just was very grateful. Great friends with Sweat. Met Glad before too at Guardian Con one time. Just that type of just nothing that they had to do. So I was very blown away.
If I remember right, you were fixing to go to bed.
Yes.
that got kiboshed because I know 4 hours later you were still on.
It was funny because we streamed for about 3 hours on YouTube, and then we came over to Twitch. We were probably gonna stream about an hour and a half. And I had work in the morning. I had a pretty important meeting in the morning, so I was like, you know what, I'll probably go to bed around like 1. We'll call it at about 1. And I was gonna grab a checkpoint for Pit of Heresy because we hold on to some checkpoints to be able to help out with some exotic weapons. We were going to help out with Xenophage. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna grab that checkpoint, then go to bed. And then all of that happened. I don't know. I forgot that I even honestly said that until you brought it up. That I said I was going. So yeah, that's true. I thought I was going to bed.
Yeah, I've had one or two of those nights where I'd be doing something and I was like, you know what? I got a meeting in 2 hours. I'm just staying up, and then I'll crash afterwards. But I proudly admit, I'm level 44 in real life, and I love my afternoon naps. I gotta have a nap.
And his warm milk.
I don't do milk. I don't do milk. I'll do this, but I won't do milk.
What are you drinking?
What are you drinking? I don't know which flavor of G Fuel this is. It's either this or BSN's Amino Raspberry Blue, or and everything. Before I had neck surgery, I was big into fitness, and I'm getting back to that now.
Cool, nice.
So that's what we started the Gamer Fit Challenge for. Everyone's been stuck at home doing nothing. So a week or so ago, I was talking to one of our community members, Spencer, Recknips, and we decided, hey, let's just start this up.
Rec popped in. No, Rec is great. Yep. You introduced me. No, okay, yeah. Okay,
so
cool.
We started it up, and it just is basically to motivate people. And it's great. We do 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, 100 air squats, and whatever else you want to do. Clean eating. And yes, it's kind of like the One Punch Man, but I don't know anybody in the challenge that's doing 10-kilometer run afterwards. It's not happening. I'm not doing it. I drop dead. I'd be dead. So we're starting there, and then we're going to do it 60 days, and then we'll do some sort of other challenge after in the next 60 days. So,
hey, we're catching some echo. Chat keeps saying.
Who's the echo coming off of?
I can try muting.
No. It's probably I can fix it on my end.
Test.
Where's it coming from?
Am I echoing?
Test.
We rely on our chat to tell us.
Got to do the snaps, see if somebody catches it.
Evil Spectre. We haven't had this many people in
not in a minute anyway.
Zoom in a while. So.
Well, thank you everybody for dropping in too. I really appreciate it, y'all.
Okay, thanks, German.
One thing I have to say for CB as well is, all right, so I was watching this man stream on YouTube, right? I go to bed. I call it a night. I ended up getting up early. It's like 4 o'clock in the morning. He is on Twitch just streaming and just still going at it.
Machine.
I jump in. He was like, what are you doing up? I was like, let's go ask you the same thing.
Yeah,
still going. Yeah, I noticed. I was like, wow, man.
I do have a question. Because you said on the one of your streams the other night, you showed where you got the letter saying you qualified for Twitch partnership, and something that you said just kind of made really cool sense to me is that you didn't want to do it because you still want to stream on both platforms.
Yeah.
Because you have two different audiences. Do you want to elaborate on that a little more?
Well, so I don't even think that I have two different audiences. I guess maybe now it's starting to, maybe we are getting some Twitch people that might not know of the YouTube channel, but really at the beginning, it was more of so I've been streaming on YouTube since the beta of YouTube. So since like YouTube streaming started almost 4 years ago. And I thought it was a really cool feature when I was first starting to grow my channel. And I fell in love with it, even though it was still in its pre-stages. And I feel like I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for like all of the memories and all the fun that I've had on YouTube. So that's one part. Like I never had an intention of leaving YouTube when I started also tying some Twitch streams into it. But what it was is because YouTube is still so young, because Twitch has been around for over a decade, obviously. And YouTube, we are going on year 4, because when I first started YouTube streaming, it was in beta. There was no memberships. There's a lot of things that didn't exist back then. But one thing that I felt like was missing on the platform was the ability to raid other channels. Like I love seeing so many new streamers get going in our community and other communities and really just feeling motivated to chase after their dreams. And one thing that I liked that what Twitch had was being able to raid people. So I've really been enjoying being able to, we start on YouTube and we all kind of collectively go to Twitch, and then usually we'll share the community in some other place and be able to help people get going. And that's something that I've talked to YouTube about hopefully one day having it, but until then, and it was kind of like an experiment, kind of using that feature. That was one of the biggest drawings for me, wanting to be able to help other people get going.
It's because
And
CB
so-
is Trevor's brother. He's the greatest streamer, a great friend, and a true light to the Destiny community. I'm gonna agree with
Love
you on
you,
that one,
Nicholas.
Blueberry.
Love you, Nicholas. But
You
yeah,
know-
but that was one of the biggest things. So like for me, getting the notification that I qualified for partnership was really cool. But I there's so much that's built up in these past 3 years from YouTube that I never went into this with the strategy of like, I guess, leaving if it started working or something.
I think it's
you still want to do both in the end.
I think it's great because, like, as I'm tackling, I've only been doing this for like 3 months.
Mhm.
I've always messed around with it, and I got to this level, and I was telling Jay and the guys a while back, I was like, you know what, this is something I want to do because I do technical stuff and videos and everything. I was like, all right, I'm going to give it a go. And doing both YouTube and Twitch just seems more natural. So I give you big time kudos because there's a lot of people out there that I'm just doing one or the other. And I found it very unique, and especially going back and watching your YouTube channel, seeing how you've grown through the whole entire process, how your videos were on your very first video post.
It's been a while. It's a journey. I leave
current.
those on purpose too, because sometimes people will forget that, because sometimes I feel like one of the biggest things that stop people from starting content creation is the saying, I don't know how to do it, or I don't know how to edit, or I don't know how to make videos, or I can't afford the right software. And then the reason why I leave a lot of that old stuff that's there is because no one knows how to start and no one knows what they're doing until you kind of just jump in and kind of make some of those mistakes and learn some of those lessons, So, so I commend you for starting, and it's been like, really, it's just such a passion of mine, just being able to interact with people. And that was one thing that that was kind of the itch that wasn't 100% being scratched in like the technical field as much for me. And that's just like, and it's just so in tune with, I guess, just what I feel like I just love doing. And that's really how I feel like I'm able to do both. And I enjoy kind of finishing out on YouTube, and then just kind of, we all just kind of go over together. So it kind of feels like we're growing one big thing versus two separate.
I have noticed as you transition between the two, it just doesn't stop. And I'm just going to say, I think it's the energy that carries people over, because there's some streamers that I follow, and I'm not going to lie, I'm not going to name their names on stream, but they're like, oh, I'm going to switch over. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to bed. You switch over, I'm probably going to be up for another hour, a little bit longer.
Love you, man.
So
3.
And you guys
Like
have been up
geeks
so
still
late.
up
I always
when I
feel
go
so bad too. I'll be like, I'm forsaken. Why are you up? It's 4. Look at my clock.
No,
I'm like,
do not be fooled. The man goes to sleep and gets up early, so don't be fooled.
But it may or may not have only been like 3 hours before.
Hey, look, my average time to sleep a night. You're
Wait,
probably about right.
is that-
About
is-
3 hours?
It's a
I've
question.
learned.
Is that the Vegeta that's also doing Star Wars or Fallen Order?
That is Vegeta. So if you see Vegeta, and if Veteran, I saw him in there too.
I saw Veteran earlier.
They go through the whole. They can do the whole Revenge of the Sith movie from literally beginning to end, and they'll go
Okay,
for it. They know.
Vegeta, watch this. I
That's
got
awesome.
something for you.
Oh man, here it comes.
Okay, here we go.
See, Jay is secretly our vampire. That's how he manages to not sleep.
There you go. There you go. Look, this is
This is
small
why
one.
I always catch CB.
Oh.
I haven't
I
finished
never
the big
sleep.
one. This is the original Millennium Falcon. My son and I
Oh,
are building
snap.
the other one. So that's for Vegeta.
That's real cool.
I'm
You have
ju-
a whole lot of nice stuff. You got to show him that Gallahorn too.
Oh,
I mean,
Yeah,
you got
he's
all
got
the
some
goodies.
toys,
He's
man.
got all
He's
the
got
goodies.
toys,
This
yeah,
man's got
absolutely.
all of the goodies.
All right,
Like,
so while he's
really.
grabbing the goodies, let me scroll back up through chat. So I see Veteran, Head Blast Z,
Hydra
none.
bomb.
Man.
the Gray the Potato, of course.
So many beautiful faces.
Yeah, Melby, Red Hood,
Get
Steven.
that galley, man.
Twisted stopped by, Hydra came in.
Oh, man. And guys,
I'm
thank you
I'm
so
probably
much,
going to
seriously.
butcher your name, so I will apologize ahead of time.
Markness, G.
CB, we got to say too, you have like the gold standard for the introductions to chat. I admire how you call people out. It's great.
Here's
thank you.
what's even better is he's naming them by name, not by their screen name, but
Yeah.
by their
While
name.
playing like Iron
Yeah.
Banner too. He's
And-
just like, oh, no problem.
But then I'll literally forget what I'm supposed to be doing 2 minutes from now. Like I can't go through
Vegeta
life
said,
without
"Appreciate
forgetting
you showing
something."
that.
yeah.
But yeah, no, you're right.
no
though.
problem,
I mean,
Vegeta.
that's been another huge thing about the streaming thing, is that it is more than just reading off names. Like, I mean, there's so many people, and there's so much about family life.
Yeah.
Everything that's going on, like take Vegeta, just graduating, a really great basketball player, now streaming on YouTube. Take Jason OKC,
Nice.
who's been around for almost 4 years. Jason, I love you, man. Since YouTube beta started, all the
Wow.
Zer streams, I still remember when you came back in the summer. And the first Xur stream and the Vault of Glass and all that good stuff that came. Tyler's in there, Tsunami VV. I mean, just so many people. Just love you as all. Gino, good to see you, man. Stan's in here. Love you. Steven, that's Melby. It's so good to see everybody. I'm glad they're here.
Yeah. You got people. I recognize some of the names from your streams, so it's pretty cool.
I've seen quite a few of the names there.
I kind of remember Vegeta because he was streaming, or was playing the Fallen Order, and I was like, all right, cool. Because I'm not gonna lie, I played it on the Xbox, but my kid played about half of it for me, so.
And you didn't really play it, geek. You got to redo it.
Yeah, that's why I'm doing it on the PC because my son's not allowed to touch Teletran 1. My box is named Teletran 1. I'm a diehard Transformers fan, then a Destiny fan.
Hey, if it transforms and talks, you better shoot it.
Yeah, we have some big Star Wars fans in our community.
If the toaster starts speaking, load the shoddy. That's all you got to know.
I noticed I didn't know how much of a Star Wars fan community you had till yesterday. And I was like, holy crap.
Yeah, well, see what triggered it too is I didn't realize that Revenge of the Sith, the 15th anniversary, just happened. So I was like, man, 15 years. So so that's what kind of sparked that night of
wait.
Realize we're all getting a little older too, and it's no longer like me being a kid watching Star Wars. It's
exactly. So,
yeah,
exactly. So so it kind of hit us in the feels a little bit.
I was 29. Oh my god, I'm old.
Wait, you were 29. I'm not even gonna say.
I'm not even gonna say how old I was then.
Yeah. I may or may not have been.
Your kids were in diapers, right?
Not in diapers. We'll not go that far.
Angle, were you alive yet?
But getting ready for middle school.
Yes, I was. I was not in diapers.
I think I was
We
getting
were
ready
potty
for middle
trained,
school.
boys. Potty.
Fair enough. All right, guys. I think I'm gonna drag this thing back to the Destiny 2 tracks here. This week, right, we got a new, end of a quest, finally, right?
Yep.
So I know, right, Destiny had a bit of a bump in the road, maybe once or twice along the way for this Felwinter's quest here, but all things being said and done, what were you guys' final impressions of the quest itself, the payoff with going into the bunker, the Tyrant quest, and Felwinter's line?
So overall, so if you I guess don't look at obviously the bug, which is gonna unfortunately, no matter how you unpack the Felwinter's quest, is always going to be attached to that now, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But in terms of the quest in general, I thought that it was pretty. There were really breakout moments in it that I feel like a lot of times we miss in certain quests. So take the when we first went to back to the Iron Temple, part of the Crucible map in that story mission, and got to get the first little bit about how the Iron Lords were kind of betrayed, and a little bit about Siva, and a little bit about some of the juicy stuff that I feel like we didn't get back in Rise of Iron, kind of connecting dots, and then taking that one step further on the final mission, and then the lore attached to it.
Yeah,
I thought there was a lot of really good dialogue in that quest. Now, for me, I'm always the type of person, though, that I loved reading all 13 entries of that lore, but I would have loved a little bit more to be baked into it.
Yeah.
Throughout it. So for instance, instead of just getting 1,000 shotgun kills, maybe if a little bit of that lore was being read, maybe while I was doing something, it might have been cool to have a little bit of that. But overall,
every 10 shotgun kills,
maybe. But just in general, though, I thought that I like quests when I'm learning and I'm seeing some sort of story be built. And sometimes I feel like with quests, we kind of miss that in the game as of late. So that's something that I definitely can appreciate, regardless of if, it broke for a little bit. That was probably the standout of the quest for me was getting to be oh, so that's how everything happened in Rise of Iron. Those are the type of moments I want to get, because there are a lot of loose ends in this game. So that was cool for me. So that was really my thing on it.
Right on. I could echo a couple of things that you're saying right there. For me, jumping into it, right, it was separated out from the bug itself. So I got to just kind of sit down last night, run through my 1,000 shotgun kills, and then drop into the bunker. And I thought some of the storytelling there was really effective in terms of just making you kind of stop and pause and listen to something. And I did like how they had almost like Rasputin talking, Anna Bray translating, and they kind of carried through a little bit of that connective tissue. I'd love to see them use this as a prototype for how they introduce guns and story and so on. Obviously, it's going to take some dev costs, and they're probably not going to be able to build this huge bunker down below every time.
Yeah.
But it captured your attention, and it was interesting to explore, at least for that little moment.
Completely agree.
So what I found interesting was there's a couple different aspects. I was all excited. I thought I was going to have to fight my way through the bunker, and then it was just lore. So I had to switch my brain set from being disappointed that there wasn't combat to realizing, just like you're saying, they put lore into it.
Yeah.
I also had to go in with an open mindset that this Felwinters was not D1 Felwinters. Totally different things. But one of the things I think that a lot of the community in Destiny, not your community, but as a whole forget, is Bungie's trying to tell a story. And they do that through the lore and through the books and some of the quests and everything. So sometimes it's not just about the end gear result, but the actual storytelling.
About the journey.
So, yeah.
So the journey would set
friends we
friends
made.
along the way.
Yeah.
man.
So, but yeah, so I enjoyed it. It's a good shotgun. I have other favorites, but it's just because of the play style.
It goes bang.
Yeah.
Because shotgun.
Yeah.
No, it's definitely good, but no, I agree with you. And that's something that I want continued on, is just like you said, is I just want there to be that dialogue on those quests. So quests aren't just to-do lists.
Yeah.
And they're
Go
more
kill.
they're more like
Welcome
painting
back.
a picture.
Yeah. And
I got
one thing I was gonna say too is like there was this moment where I went through all those kills and then immediately went into the bunker, and that time of pausing after all of that like grinding actually felt good to just stop and listen for a minute. I was in the mindset and ready for it. Now, obviously, not everybody got to experience that, but
No, I hear you.
One of the other things is I was listening to Anna Bray and everything and all that kind of weird kind of vibe popped in. Would it be because is she more loyal to the Guardians, or is she more loyal to Rasputin? And if Rasputin was trying to do something on his own to take advantage of the Guardians and mislead them or anything else, and all of a sudden you had a severed relationship and they go to war with each other, would there be an Anna Bray faction of Guardians that break off, and would you get to choose?
That
Almost
would
like
be...
2.0. I mean, I like where you're going with that.
Yeah,
I've never even heard
that's an
that take
interesting rabbit hole to jump down.
It is.
Yeah,
So I guess to answer the main question, though, I do think that Anna's definitely more loyal to Rasputin than anybody else, it seems. I mean, she doesn't even have a lot of memories of the past anyways to be more loyal to us anyways. It seems like her big attachment is Rasputin. So
No matter what, she's always fighting for him too.
Yeah.
In every opportunity she gets, she's fighting for
And you
him.
know she doesn't care for
Yeah.
Zavala. She just doesn't.
Oh yeah.
No.
Well,
care.
real question
No.
is, do we
Not
all
at
really
all.
care for Zavala? We voted to boot him
We
off
all
the
want to
tower
yeet
last
him off the
podcast.
tower.
Look,
We
I
wanted
said
to.
if I could do that, I would shave my beard.
He
If
said
I
on the
could do it.
podcast.
We need some people to pull some strings at Bungie because I want to see
Look,
Jay
if
shave
I
that beard
can
on
Spartan
stream.
kick him off the tower just to do it, then I will shave my beard. Twisted will as well.
I think they have him recording more lines, so I think more stuff is
Yeah.
coming
They
with
do.
them.
They
As
So
long as
I
we
think-
can get it in there at least, just once.
Are
Just
those
one
lines
ghost,
including
that's all-
just
He'll be
the
fine.
word all the time? So that's just him falling.
See. We shall see.
yep.
I
so
agree,
you chat
Marcus,
saying
kick
we'll
him.
kick
We got
him.
Saint back.
We got Saint back.
All right. Okay. Here's. Let's go ahead and make this more interesting. Twisted, hit. Come on in. Let's get this cocoa thing going. I want to see how people handle the questions after eating the cocoa. I gotta see this because
Brutal.
I heard through the grapevine, man, that you handle spicy food just fine.
Well, I love spicy food,
I
but
do-
I was reading the label, and then I was starting to question it, how much I love it.
Just word of advice: don't touch the chocolate with your fingers.
Asked Otto what
Okay.
happens.
Yeah, don't rub
Yeah.
your eyes.
Okay,
Just
so
ask
that's
Otto.
like the same way when I eat like my really spicy wings too.
Yeah, just use
They'll
the
be the same
plastic.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
okay.
And for chat's context too, the ChocoChallenge, right, is Fuego Box. They host this. It is for a good cause, right? What is it, like 50 meals for essentially like every box goes towards
Feeding America.
feeding America, right? Exactly. So there's a good cause behind it here. The white chocolate, right, is going to be hot. Now on the show here too, we did do round 1 a couple weeks ago.
Yep.
So we've got the other half the crew and CB and Twisted here stepping in for round 2.
You say other half, but it's really just one other
Yeah.
person.
So
We're just with some Hurt Locker doing it now.
I just want to explain.
I don't have it this
He
week.
chickened out. He chickened
No,
out.
I'm gonna do it.
He
I'm gonna
did
do
order it.
I moved and I cut my
Call him
finger
out.
off. It's been a crazy couple weeks.
No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Oh, hold on though, because we
Yeah.
did ask you, 2 weeks before the finger.
So
Before the
I've been moving, dog.
Okay, so to give a little clarity on Fuego, I'm going to give a shout out to him because they did this challenge last year as well, and I did it. I lost my dad to colon cancer, right? And they did it last year, and every box sold, they did $5 towards cancer research. So when I saw that they were doing this challenge again this year, but instead going to help feed Frontline and everything else to fight the human malware, that stuff that's going around, and it was 50 meals in Feeding America, and it wasn't just about that. It was actually to kids. Like one of the really interesting stories I found was, what about those parents that go to the hospital and their kids are left on their own, all this other stuff. So it was really, really kind of cool. So we did round 1, and then we gave a shout out to a whole bunch of other streamers, and CB stepped up. I'm going to give him some kudos.
Well,
so
CB said,
it's a really, it
speaks
speaks a lot though. It speaks volumes. I mean, it's a really good cause. So
yeah, and
I'm
all
all
I can
for
say,
having a little bit of fun for a good cause. I mean,
so
I do have one question for CB before he does this.
May the 4th be with you.
Are you going to put this tinfoil on the hat?
While we're eating the chocolate?
Yeah.
It's gotta go on now.
It's funny because every day that quarantine extends and I can't get a haircut, this process gets harder and harder.
We're gonna break the tinfoil eventually, man.
Where is that?
One day these are the strongest strings.
Where did
man.
Okay,
so the thing is, so if you take a look, the hair used to actually fit all in.
Wow.
Now I
man.
actually stay. It's like I have like a whole set of hair.
so what
I
is
can't-
that, like a popcorn bag? Or what was that?
Old school? Oh no, it's legit.
You said old
no, no, because I'm talking about the old popcorn popper. You know, what I'm
Yeah,
talking about.
that's
yeah,
what you
but,
thought you was doing.
but no, that's not what it was. This was not an old popcorn popper, but I actually did order it online.
Oh, nice. I was gonna try and do a Dorito
Google.
hat, but yeah,
Dude, that might be the next one.
Geek, this is what you do. You got to get one of those cheese hats, fill in the gaps, just paint it orange.
I got a cheese
Problem
head
solved.
I got a Green Bay Packers.
The Green
There
Bay
you go.
Packers.
There you
Yeah,
go.
somewhere.
Problem solved.
Yeah.
Hey, CB, but now you can add this little red piece to the very top of it.
For the Dorito
Yeah.
or what?
Yeah, just for the very top.
The jewel on the crown. Just
The
so
thing
on
is,
the
if my
top.
hair wasn't so long, maybe we'd be able to see the top of it, but we can't. So you wouldn't even know. It could have already been at the top. You wouldn't even
I didn't
know.
even know there's the point to the top of it. Even your
Oh yeah, there's a point. No, there's a point. There's definitely a point.
okay.
But it's just invisible.
All right,
You just got to let the hair grow into it, so you build a cone head from it.
all right. So
The perfect.
Shape it like a tree.
so
Either that
everybody,
or a Hershey Kiss.
there you go. So everybody knows both CB and Unforsaken J have the actual chocolate bar. Twisted ordered one, but it didn't get there in time. But Twisted, in the spirit of this event, went and pulled a MacGyver.
A real MacGyver.
Let's see it, dude.
All right, so I pulled a.
Introduce
Take it away.
Go for it, man.
Tell
Come
me,
on,
is it-
come on.
Let
This,
them know,
this is
Mackenzie.
my.
Zoom
This
in,
is the
zoom in.
hell mixture. It
Okay.
is a liquid, and that's really the best way I can put it.
Explain it.
In there right now is half a teaspoon of Carolina Reaper and half a teaspoon of ghost pepper. I was waiting on shipping, but I'm not going to leave CB and Poor Unforsaken J out on their own. So I'm like, I'm gonna get something together, and we're gonna do a liquid.
Yeah, that's the real one right there, boys.
Mackenzie,
Now,
my brother.
here's
My
the thing.
brother, man. My brother.
As long just a recommendation.
Yeah, you
we
know,
don't
you might wanna eat like
You
this.
might want to cover that beard so you don't get precious stuff.
Yeah,
in
for
there.
liquid.
I'm still trying to figure out if Jay or Twisted have birds in the beard. Any nests?
Now we're
Oh,
good.
no.
We're-
I think
we're
Jay-
all
I think we're
right.
Scare them away.
Yeah.
Twisted's gonna lick his lips later and just gonna be like, "Wait a minute, hold on."
All right, so
Oh,
CB, did you prep any
do
drinks?
you have medical standing by?
I have 911 ready. I have my glass of water.
Okay.
If we need to, we got milk in the fridge. Dang. Let me see. They say, man, this is crazy. This is like a whole thing. I'm just sorry.
Yeah,
I'm just
man.
like,
Hey,
it's
man,
like a whole
no.
experience.
You could send this over to unboxing therapy.
It said, yeah, let me do the whole
Wait,
inbox
No,
for
you gotta
everybody.
lift it.
You
You
must
gotta
be
lift this
insane.
out. That's the
y'all.
best part.
Insane.
Look at this, what this
Yeah.
says. Guys, what's the matter with me?
You have really horrible friends. Is the upshot of this, CB?
Yeah.
Hey, Twisted's the one that set you up.
Yeah.
Dude.
There's still one more message in that box too, under the chocolate, if I'm not
Uh-huh.
Oh,
mistaken.
yeah.
he is right.
No,
Now,
there's
lift
nothing
up the chocolate.
underneath the chocolate.
Oh, and there's a third one?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
Guys,
another
no.
one for you, bud.
The best part is
Lord.
once you get it out of the box and you open up the wrapper to take a smell of it and you'll be like, wait a minute. Because it doesn't look like anything bad. And then you smell it and you're like,
Just get the gallon of milk. Yeah,
Dude, you guys are scaring me, yo. Oh,
It's not that bad. It's really not that bad.
Last chance, CB. What's it gonna be, brother?
It's a beautiful thing.
And it's all at once.
50 meals donated per bar sold.
Yeah,
We're doing a
see,
great
hey
thing.
man,
It's a
great
good
cause,
cause.
man. Great cause.
It's a great cause, man.
Going to need a please stand by technical difficulty. Yeah, we'll need one then.
All right.
All right, you guys got to do this together too.
Yeah,
What
all
type?
right.
Like, look at this. This is scary packaging. Like, this is not welcoming at all.
I love
That's why I was asking if the tinfoil was
Is
going
this
on the
trying
hat.
to do anything to make
Okay,
you change
so
your
bad.
mind?
So CB, out of all the podcasts you've been on, has anyone asked you to do anything like this before?
So this is actually only the second podcast I've ever been on. So I mean, once again, like I'm really grateful for you guys bringing me on. So the only other podcast I've been on is I was on Abonis's Last Word podcast
Last
with
Word.
Lord Cognito.
Yep.
And they're awesome too, and I had a really good time with them as well. So I appreciate you guys also bringing me on, and I appreciate you guys killing me too.
First time joining in with us, and we're like,
Yeah,
hey,
first
eat this
and last
chocolate
time
bar.
joining in with us, apparently.
This is the end of several friendships right now, so
If anything goes that bad,
All right, so what's the recommendation for what do I do?
Just-
Do I eat a corner? Do I?
No,
what do
eat
I-
the
all
whole
at
thing.
once.
All
The
at
the
once.
whole thing.
Yeah, dog.
But yeah,
Oh, dude! After the warning.
Yep. That's the
It's
easiest way
CB.
because if you eat it in little pieces,
If you eat it,
it's just
it's
gonna
hotter.
take longer and longer. So
Oh my gosh!
all right.
just
Think
get
about all
ready to
those
chew,
people
get it
that
down. Like it's yeah.
all right,
Look,
everybody.
Takes a
All right,
second.
and you guys
It's
said
like
not
the
to touch
what-
it, right?
what do you guys
Don't
do
touch
No,
it.
hey, CB. So the way you want to grab a hold of it.
I'm still holding
Yeah.
like the
Yeah.
wrapper.
So what do you-
I got
Yeah,
it.
don't touch it with your bare hands.
What do you tell your viewers and stuff when you're trying to get yourself psyched up for something or trying to get some positive energy going? Do you guys have an emote for that or anything? We're
We got
still
10
working
we got,
on ours.
We got 10 foils, we got hype music, but I don't know if there's anything that's got me ready for this. This is, guys, I don't think I've been this scared since Niobe Labs.
Oh, CB, bring it up. What shall not be mentioned?
I remember
The curse of Niobe Labs.
I remember doing Niobe Labs and actually getting everything done, and then Twisted, like, what was it, a couple months ago, him and some other guys hounded out for like a couple hours trying to do it, and they're like, I'm
Got the
done.
hype spam.
So right before
There
we eat
go.
the chocolate, because I'm not sure how well I'll be able to talk after, so I can actually tell like one more story before I can't speak anymore. But
You gotta get the full story up for CB.
but yeah, so
Oh, man.
Niobe Labs was so it was the day I took off work, and we ended up streaming for about 20 plus hours before ended up having to go directly to work because we found out obviously that
Without sleep.
we without sleep that
Of course.
that the quest we didn't have the details to solve the seventh puzzle.
Right.
So they ended up having to open it, obviously. So that was an experience that night. It was about a 20-hour stream, and then about a 10-hour day at work. Then we jumped right back in. So Niobe Labs was a whole
Just
journey.
getting it.
That's a
was a-
grind.
It's a whole journey.
Yeah,
So,
I remember it took me and my friend Cody and the other guys that were with us. Once it was unlocked, we went through, and just to do the whole quest chain, that was a full Saturday.
yeah.
It was a lot of work. So yeah.
Sounds like you guys are delaying here.
Yeah.
But I hear a lot of delay.
Well, you guys. Well, I just don't think I was gonna be able to tell that long of a story after this. You
Oh.
guys have made it sound like I'm gonna be on my deathbed after
Oh,
this.
it's
So
not.
if
It's
you-
not that bad.
so
It's
at
not that
least
bad.
not
I
that
feel
bad.
like
Ready?
out of common courtesy of
Hey,
killing
real
me,
talk.
I think
the
I
one
could
who's
get
gonna have
one more
the worst
story.
time
I think
is Twisted.
you know
Yeah.
usually before people go, it's always the any final words, any last wish. I feel like that was my last story. I think I just
Serious
Good,
final
good
rights.
fun there.
Raid
I think
pun intended.
and now I go back to Niobe Labs.
All right. Here you go,
All right,
guys.
so how do we do this? Is this like a,
Just-
a countdown? Like
I'll do it. 1,
Hey,
2,
he'll-
3,
he'll
and here you
count
go.
it, and let's just
There you
go for
All
it.
right, everybody ready? Here we go. 1,
Yep.
2, 3. Consume. I'm waiting to watch Twisted.
Yeah, me too. I'm just staring.
CB, I think, is going to have this one in the bag. Jay's doing good. Chewing's going good.
Twisted's thinking.
Twisted isn't that hot yet.
Twisted's rethinking life
yeah.
right now.
Nah,
like 5 degrees
we're
hard in
good.
the room.
We're good. We're good.
5 degrees hotter already.
Mm-hmm.
CB is using saltines instead. Yeah, no,
Are you-
the seal on his bar
Did he
was not
just-
broken. But we should
These guys are taking it like
I know.
champs here. Look at this.
All right, so what are you thinking right now,
It's a little-
CB?
It's a little toasty.
About 10 degrees
Had to
hotter.
burp.
Yeah.
10 degrees.
10
Done.
degrees.
Ooh, Jay's
I
got
did
the
it.
burps.
Yeah.
I did it.
Yeah.
Now
The-
you give
I
it.
think
Now
the-
the
Yeah.
workout
My
comes.
voice hurts. My throat. It hurts.
Live one makes me angry.
Yeah.
But I'm alive.
The first
CCB,
one.
this is what they didn't tell you. The first wave of eating it isn't the bad part. It's the 5 minutes later.
It's the swallowing after because
It's the burps. It'll be the burps too.
Yeah,
Dude,
because I
the
got
first one. The
vibes
first
right now.
Woo!
last year was a Maruga Scorpion. It was just straight up Maruga. It was
Red Hood says, "Who's the 15th wish? Figure it out."
15th wish. I love it.
Hey,
Shoot fish and Niobe Labs.
Don't touch your face if you touch the chocolate.
Oh, I'm not.
See what happened last time? Otto's nose turned red for the rest of the broadcast.
Yeah, it was like
okay.
it looked
I
like
think it's red
Rudolph.
now, but like
Niobe Labs.
You got the
Put us
worst
through
of that
this.
one.
Yeah,
You
so-
Ask me a
got
question.
the
Ask me a
worst.
question.
All right,
Let's do it.
okay, here we go. Here we
let's
go.
do it.
I want anyone
All right.
anyone have questions inside the in the chat.
Ask me
for
anything,
CB.
guys. I
We're
haven't
gonna
drank
ask him
anything
questions.
yet. I haven't drank one sip of
I
anything.
have one that I want to ask him, but it's going to get technical, so I don't know if I want to ask him.
Oh yeah,
Because,
do it.
okay, because he's a software developer. I really wanted to ask CB's thoughts on how developers, not just Bungie, but in general, as a software developer from that aspect, how they can better approach handling and addressing people's
I
cheating.
don't even know if I could do a simple if statement right now.
Come on, CB, you can do this.
No if,
Oh,
and,
man.
or- no for loops.
I think they're on the right track though with the TWABs of starting to implement different strategies from not just their own platforms, but branching out and seeing what other games are doing. I think they're looking into Valorant and one other thing.
oh man, dude, you're
And
making me.
I
laugh
like that
so
they're
hard right
branching out. I like that they're also trying not to disclose everything they're doing because the second people find out, it's easy to anti-cheat the anti-cheat.
Dude,
So,
now. So about that anti-cheat,
So-
bro, do you want to elaborate on that a little bit?
Yo, what kind of anti-cheat?
Just keep
So-
doing the dance. It'll make it better.
So no, so what I'm saying is just, with me personally, I don't know how to get around the anti-cheats that Bungie has in place, but there's some smart people in the world, and either they need to make sure that, like I said, two biggest things I like that they're doing, and I can't think. Sorry, I like that they're branching out, and there's a certain level of like,
that's
I
the
guess
real
humbleness you
MVP
need to
voice.
understand that like you can't do everything by yourself in anything in life, and so I'm glad that
Except eat
they're
that
looking.
chocolate bar.
And
Not,
Twisted's
not
going
even
down.
that. I should have split it with you guys.
Good.
But so I'm happy that they're branching out. I want them to definitely continue to
Oh,
be
Marcus, just so you
transparent,
know,
but
I
at the
eat,
same time that they're being
Carolina Reapers.
transparent. Don't
Pretty
let
often.
everybody know what you guys are doing. So I like that they said they're not gonna let everybody know exactly what they're doing. So I'm actually glad that we're in the dark about some things there.
I have to agree.
Usually I like transparency. This I don't want transparency.
Now the
But
only,
what are you gonna say?
the only transparency I'd like from them is to
Hey,
ensure
CB,
that
do you
they're
want to go
not-
get something to drink, bro?
Do you need the water? Okay, you're
Rapid
good.
fire, man.
Okay.
I said
Oh,
it.
you
want to
Yeah,
roll?
let's go. I
Let's
got
go.
questions ready here too.
All right, we'll
But no,
revisit
but I
it
do
time.
want to hear. I do want to hear Geek's perspective
Okay,
before the second
so-
question, though.
What I like about Bungie is they're being transparent enough to say we're not going to invade your privacy. They're
Yep.
not going to take steps like that to go outside of the game. They are researching different means to make things safer and more fun and more enjoyable without penalizing those that are honest, which I think is fantastic. Which is like, Bethesda, they heard the audience, they listened, and I don't know if anyone else heard, they are pulling de novo anti-cheat from Doom Eternal.
I heard that.
They're pulling that all
Yeah, I
out.
did read that myself.
Valorant is looking to do something similar, from what I understand, because they're getting a lot of flack on that one too. So, as gamers, developers move forward, I'm really interested in what they're going to do to govern themselves to ensure that, as a gamer, we're not penalized and our privacy is respected.
And I think you hit every single point nail on the head. I mean, a lot of people don't even think about that in terms of like one way that they could ensure the integrity of the game a little better is if they did kind of lower the integrity of our security. So they are trying to not be shady in their approach of actually protecting everybody. So all their intentions are right. Let's hope they get it right. I don't think anything's going to get fixed until closer to September. I'm trying to be patient on these fixes. It's going to take time. And as you know, as I know, it's hard developing from home with everybody all apart. So all of the testing and all of everything takes so much longer. So personally, if they just need to take the summer to kind of get this stuff right, I mean, I'm straight. I'm happy. So
I got one for you.
lay on me
right
the
off
next
rip
question.
from Destiny 1. So in Destiny 2 we brought the tokens. How do you feel that
Two
that
tokens in a
affected?
blue.
Yeah, how do you feel the tokens for raiding affected people,
Yeah,
new
5
people going into
tokens.
raids?
Wait, how did I feel the tokens affected
Yeah.
when raids? Like
New
so-
people, like if they don't know the raid, like how do you think the community's treated people that don't know the raid because the token now instead of not just being able to res?
like in before.
Oh,
like,
the res token. I'm so
Yeah.
sorry. You gotta.
Hey, look,
I apologize
I mean,
for a quick second. Remember, there were like callus tokens and stuff. So I didn't know if you were talking about the OG tokens that were in the raids, or if you're
That's
talking
where
about the res
mine went
tokens.
to. Yeah.
So that's actually an interesting question. I've never really thought about that in terms of if that does make it harder, because if you do remember, like you said, in D1 normal raids, I guess normal raids were more forgiving because you could res as much as you want. Harder raids were less forgiving because you couldn't res. So there were trade-offs in both. In terms of how I feel about it here, I mean, I always feel like it's unfortunate that there's just this sad thing we have to live with, but there is always going to be this barrier to entry to some of the harder content in the game, regardless of if there's res tokens or not. And that's really honestly one of the biggest reasons why I wanted to start streaming, to try to eliminate some of those barriers to entry. So do I agree or disagree with it? I mean, I feel like the difficulty needs to be at a certain level. But I do hope that as time continues to go more, there will be more and more people that are more welcoming to people that haven't tried it before, and can give them those first experiences to kind of see what raids are all about. Because we have people that pop in the streams every day that are like, it's been 6 years and I've never done a raid. I'm like, well, we need to make sure we do more raid streams. So I think that I mean, regardless of if it's a token, if it's no reses, whatever it is, there needs to be a certain level of difficulty, the raids. But I do hope that, we can continue to give more and more new players their first experience in some of those activities, so they can get kind of that experience. Because I feel like that's part of what makes Destiny Destiny.
So if I can maybe throw this out to everybody, because you mentioned barrier to entry, do you think fire team size is a barrier to entry for raiding? Do you think that 6 people is hard for people to get?
Partially, but I think it's just hard to get fire teams for hard activities in general, because I know that people still sometimes, like, I struggle to find a team to do the dungeon. I struggle to find a team to do trials. Like, I feel like the difficulty of an activity is just as much a barrier as fire team size. And I feel like even if, like, let's say we scale raids down to 3 again, if they were still super hard, there'd be the same issue. It would just be with 3 people instead of 6. At least personally, that's how I feel. Or at least there'd still be, it wouldn't eliminate all of the barrier, let's say, at least.
Yeah, I mean, I would argue that, right, there is a barrier, an explicit barrier to it being 6, to obviously there not being matchmaking and so forth. One thing I want to kind of spin this question into, as well as when you're teaching somebody a raid for the first time.
I'm so sorry.
No, that's expected.
My throat is on fire.
How's your ears?
Oh, I thought y'all were both good. My bad.
I didn't mean to interrupt you. I'm so sorry. My lips, they're like in the process of you talking, they were getting numb. And I just felt it.
Hey, so he was like, oh no.
Fair.
Hold on.
But like, let's say, like, right, you're looking to teach somebody a raid for the first time. Maybe they haven't raided, or they don't know the raid. What's the best approach? Do you ask them to watch videos? Do you need them to do raid prep, right? How do you take down that barrier to entry for people that see this aspirational content, want to get their hands in, want a piece of that pie?
So there's a couple ways, because it is like you said, there is one way that you could be like, all right, we'll watch this video. I try not to do that approach with any of the stuff that I do. I do try to make guides for people to watch. I definitely want there to be things that people can watch, because I think those are powerful pieces of content. But outside of a mic, just in terms of communicating, I think that everybody's first raid experience at some point in time, at least if you're like an avid raider, there was a time you jumped into a raid when there was no video, there was no guide, and there was no how to do XYZ. And so what I try to do is, and just another big shout out to everybody here in the whole community. A lot of times people, like, there's so many people that love raiding and also offer to jump in and also help me to give these new players their kind of first experience. So more personally, instead of trying to put the prep on the new players, I try to put it more towards us to try to gear it where they can get that experience where they don't have to know things to get in, because that's because none of us knew in the first time.
That's an approach that I hadn't thought of before. Like, because in the clan we're in, we run another Discord for somebody else, and we were trying to do that at first, but we just had a lot of struggle. But I don't think we approached it with that mindset. We didn't look at it as how do we become better teachers, instead of, we were always like, you guys need to go watch some videos and be a little bit more familiar with it. We don't mind running you. But it was also at the same time, you'd get a crew of 4 guys that were experienced with it, trying to run a couple of guys through, and they'd get to, having to do one of the challenge missions and they just get super frustrated and all of a sudden after 2 hours it's gone. But I watch you guys go do those raids and it's just like you've got a really great crew, and knowing that mindset is really kind of a different kind of perspective on it.
No, and agreed too.
Now
and,
I feel like a jerk.
Yeah, no, don't feel like that, because it didn't come overnight. Like, I mean, in terms of, I mean, there's plenty of times where, I mean, a lot of those raid streams do sometimes seem pretty seamless, but it's been me kind of learning, okay, this is what it takes for each certain raid in terms of a dynamic to make sure that a new player, no matter what type of level of experience with certain XYZ raid, that we know exactly what spots to put them in, where to go, and it just kind of just come over time. So it wasn't anything that I just naturally knew somehow. Like, it definitely, there was a whole process to kind of learning that.
I want to ask one question too, to kind of also like frame things up too. As like a Sherpa, say if you are somebody that's teaching other raids to other people, do you typically recommend looking for like safer roles for teaching the newer people to the raids, or do you recommend mid or higher level, higher effort rate roles to help teach them the encounter more and more difficult mechanics? Like, what's the balance point between an easy role and a hard role?
You kind of want to balance it. So I think that you almost approach it with like a buddy system. So you definitely like, you can't put all of the, like, let's say if you're helping 2 new players on each one, let's say, you can't put them both in the super tough roles. So what you can kind of do is kind of look to alternate them as you're going through certain experiences, putting them in like more let's say difficult / or easier roles, depending on, like, let's take Surge of the Past, for example. Like, maybe if on the first part, if you have somebody standing on tower while you have the other new person kind of being guided down low and learning the layout of, all the skyscrapers and learning things, maybe then on the next one you go send them out when it comes down to the final boss fight, and you can kind of, and then bring the other person and have them stand in mid with you. Like, so you can kind of balance it in that way, everybody kind of gets some of the experiences, and then next time you kind of know one role, and then you can kind of jump into another role. And one thing that's good is, at least, excuse me, lips are, now I can't feel them. But,
it's okay.
But I feel like, but even if you could just get that one role, what's cool is then that's sometimes enough to break that barrier to entry, where then you can feel comfortable enough jumping into another fire team. And then at least when you're in there, then you can kind of start learning how some of the other stuff goes, instead of it all just being so foreign where you can't even get in.
Now, do you run, I mean, I've noticed on your streams as well, you have a couple of guys that are usually with you depending on whatever platform. And for those that don't know, CB is on every platform. It's crazy how, I mean, you're on all 3 regularly, bouncing back and forth. I'm not going to comment on your inventory management skills because mine
yeah. Don't worry, anybody's going to. I may or may not have one of the most unorganized postmasters involved.
He finds everything, which is, I'm looking for this. He can find it fairly quickly.
It is an organized chaos. It's just one of those things where maybe you might have a messy room, but I know where every single chaos. Like, that shirt might be in the corner, but I know where that shirt is.
Yeah.
It may, might not be in the drawers, but I know exactly where it is when I need it.
But so you run with a couple crews. Does the guys, the individuals that you run with on a regular basis, depending on the platform, or do you have a select crew that are usually with you, or you just have a bunch of people?
I allow people. So I do have some people that are definitely hit me up a lot more to help out with those things than kind of, or like, oh, if you need help with, let's say, I can help you get this shattered throne checkpoint, then we go get that, or like whatever, or they offer sometimes. But in terms of what I tell people that want to be helpers, I'm just DM me, tell me some of the things you enjoy doing, and we'll help some people do some certain stuff. Like, I mean, even just take yesterday, when we were doing Outbreak, it's like, does anybody know how to help with Outbreak? And then somebody jumped in and we helped somebody new get Outbreak. So I kind of just more let it tailor to people who feel like they're comfortable with whatever. And then I feel like different people are comfortable with different activities. So it allows a lot of different people to play and to either help or be helped. So it's kind of like a nice, like, dynamic of getting a lot of people.
Do you think that your personality and how you approach things fosters that sense of community within your community?
I hope so. I mean, that's what I strive for. I mean, I do strive to make this community that we have one that, I mean, everybody feels like a family and everybody feels like they got a home and somewhere where they can, kind of get away from like everything else kind of going on in the world, kind of the way that I feel like I can get away from work and kind of all the the other things that I have going on in life, and just really just, be with all my favorite people and have a good time every single day. And I don't know, it kind of allows it to become more than not just kind of watching play a game, and more of a, like just a bunch of friends hanging out. So I do try to foster that. And that comes from having a time in Destiny 1 where there was a brief period when I was struggling to get into some of those activities, because I kind of didn't have always the squads to, let's say, do King's Fall or something. And that was around the time I was like, man, I really would love to kind of be able to kind of foster some sort of community where, anybody could kind of get the stuff they need. And they wouldn't have to kind of shoulder some of the stuff that I felt like at some point in times in Destiny 1, I kind of experienced a little bit.
So is that what drove you to do what you're doing now?
That, and just loving communicating with others. Those are the two biggest. So, yeah.
Especially during that time was hard, because every LFG post was, Gallahorn this, Gallahorn that.
Gallahorn this, Gallahorn that. And then, Orcs was, there was a lot of encounters, and there'd be a lot of times where, because you have to do all 4 times around the Orcs encounter before you could beat them. And it would take a long time, and people would get discouraged, and it would be tough to get a group that could stick through it.
I remember when we did that, and we were able to 3 round, and then we got down to 2 round. With the swords and everything. That was, the thing I loved most about the raids then is you didn't have to have a good PvP score, because I don't do PvP. I'm not a PvP person. But I enjoyed those raids so much. I want a little more of that flavor from those raids to come back and influence some of the newer raids. I'm hoping that we get a little bit of a mix. But
yeah. Somebody who did those raid carries with you, CB, I know when we went we had like the 2 hardest raids I think that people have never cleared. With Crown of Sorrow and Spire of Stars.
Prestige.
Thank you again for jumping in.
Yeah.
Mackenzie jumped in and helped that day and killed it.
It felt good getting 2 people that have never done those done. That was one of my biggest things. Like, we had 2 people come in that had never done those raids, and it felt cool to be able to give them that chance to kind of like, first of all, empower themselves and then learn the fights. I think that was the biggest thing I think CB brings to it. Is like, we had 4 people who knew what they were doing, but then we left with 6 people who knew exactly what to do, who had that raid clear, and then might feel that little bit of confidence to go ahead and push into LFGs on their own, maybe help somebody else learn the raid. And I think that is the biggest thing that I always take away from CB's community, is that, like, he always is willing to teach somebody and show somebody what to do. It's not just a carry.
Thank you. And I appreciate that. And that's just another big shout out to, like I said, everybody who helps. So, because there's no one person who can take 5 people through a raid, especially not in a timely manner. So like so I know I end up getting a lot of credit a lot of times, but that's why I always try to just say, like, there is nothing special about me. It's really everybody coming together to bring new Guardians those experiences. Like, I'm glad that I can help kind of have a place where we can do that, but there'd be no carries of any sort if there wasn't for everybody in this community. And so just really appreciate everybody. Just the other week we did we called it Raid Week, what Mackenzie's referring to, and so we did 6 straight days or 6 straight streams of raid help, helping 2 people in each time, 2 on PS4, 2 Xbox, 2 PC, and we ended up doing three a stream. And so we helped, I believe, like almost 40 people get their first clear. So it was a great time. And like I said, those types of things aren't possible if I don't have like everybody that we have here. Like, that's why I can't say thank you enough to everybody, because that's how we're able to kind of bring people those experiences.
So staying in the Destiny 2 vein, I'm just kind of curious your opinion on like exotics and exotic quests. Like, do you prefer the like unobtainium of Anarchy or 1K, or like super long quests like Izanagi's?
So I'm a firm believer of like a mixture of everything. So at first, like, to answer your question from the beginning, my favorite type of exotic quest, at least in D2, is the secret missions by far. So like Outbreak and Whisper are my favorites. Like we just crossed over, like, helping over 400 people get Outbreak, and we've probably done about 1,000 Whisper. Like, I love those missions. I've done those missions so much that it's just like those are my babies. Like, so I love the secret style missions. Those time missions are something that we really only got one time in D1 with Black Spindle, and I thought that was so cool too. Then when it's like, in the Tannic Strike, and then the doors just open and we're going back, and then next thing you know, there's a timer and there's all these taken, and like, what in the world's going on?
What's going on? Yeah.
Like those type of moments, like I feel like you only get in Destiny 1 we only got it once. It's like you only get them like so few. It's like I really do love those in terms of that's my favorite in D2, but in terms of some of those other quests, like I guess like longer quests versus like I guess random raid exotic, like I guess those aren't really quests, right? Those are more
10% drop raids, 5%
yeah,
drop
it's
raids.
like,
but I guess unpacking that a little bit more in terms of the raids, let's focus on the raids for a quick second. I do like the mixture between every once in a while having a raid exotic that's an RNG drop, and then every once in a while having like a touch of malice type
divinity or
something
like that.
or like a whatever. So
divinity,
some where it's like, all right, I
Acreus.
need to run this like 30 times in order to get this to drop. Sometimes, and then it's like the Acreus quest where I follow this structured quest. I find that it's a good balance between those, because it allows some raids people can, if they can get it done once, you can get it, like, or versus the other ones that might take like 50 tries.
I don't know, like running Scourge and trying to get Anarchy for 1,000,000 times, and then
Exactly.
then running it with Killer, who got it and then just sharded it for those of us that
Immediately.
didn't have it. I was like, so we pick on Killer Bunny for that one.
Right. Now, the only reason we pick on him, CB, little backstory here. It was Shadowkeep just dropped, right? We were all running Shadowkeep. Killer's like, hey guys, can y'all really help me out here to get Anarchy?
I had my reasons.
Yeah, see, there he is in chat. Hey, hey, look, I'm gonna run Killer over with a bus. All right, so he was like, oh yeah, I just need help getting it. He's like, I really want it. He didn't tell us he was gonna shard it.
Nope.
So we stopped doing Shadowkeep. We get 6 together. We start running it. We're getting through it. We get done, beat the boss. Killer's like, I got it, and it's gone.
Oh no.
Otto.
I hate man.
Or like I have an identical twin brother, and he hadn't done any raids in D2 ever before, and we did Last Wish. Do you know what weapon he got on his very first clear?
He got the 1K.
He got the 1K
instantly.
But sometimes that's honestly my favorite though, saying that, because so for me it took me 50 tries to get 1K, just about like 47, I think.
I think it was around 50 something.
But we did Last Wish helps like almost like a few times a week for like a very long time, and we'd see so many people get their first ones. But I mean, honestly, I love just hearing people like reactions over some of those weapons, because the one thing that I can say about the 1Ks, the Anarchies, let's take it back to even back before like the Galahorns back in the day.
Galley.
Like those, like I just feel like we don't have that many moments where like you get something and you just like you literally scream and you remember exactly where you were when you got a weapon. And that's one thing that I think like 1K and some of those weapons foster that feels very much like D1. That I do like. So I mean, I love hearing people's reactions when like they get their 1K and start screaming and jumping at like out of their chair, because that's something that I feel like earlier in D2 a little bit more in the vanilla stages we kind of lost that for a little bit.
Well, we got all the exotics like immediately, right? The scarcity was not there as part of that.
Yeah,
exactly.
Exotics kind of lost their exotic title for a little bit.
Exactly,
they did, but we're on a slow rise again to see.
Oh yeah,
I agree.
Finally getting back to what we want to be at, I guess you could say.
We're even guilty of it a couple of times, and we tried shifting our mindset on it because we tried to set the precedent in the first couple of shows that we really want to stray away from being negative Nancy's or something, or naysayers. And we understand that almost all games, Bungie's not an exception to the rule or anything, is going to have its highs, it's going to have its lows, it's going to all average out. So being able to see where they're coming from. The unfortunate side is this game has both PvE and PvP in it. So when Bungie, they have limited resources, limited staff, especially since they're recovering from buying themselves back out of purgatory.
Yep.
They focus on one, and then the rest of that, the other side of the community, takes offense to that. So you can't make everyone happy 100% of the time. Yeah. So then all of a sudden they get the negativity from that. So we just have to focus on what they're trying to do and move forward with it. But I have a question for you regarding exotics.
Okay.
Whisper or IceBreaker?
Still waiting on IceBreaker to come back.
Whisper?
Yeah, and only because, I mean, Whisper has an attachment to me in this game that I feel like I only have an attachment with a few weapons just in general in Destiny. Like, it's not, I I loved IceBreaker, and don't get me wrong. I mean, I still remember when I got my IceBreaker. I remember jumping out my window when I got my IceBreaker. I was so happy. But the whole process of Whisper the Worm in this game, like in Warmind, because a lot of people think that it just randomly appeared in IO, and that was really it. Yeah. But there was so much buildup before Whisper the Worm came out that a lot of people don't know about. But we thought that Whisper, before we thought it was Black Spindle, we thought Black Spindle was in the game since Warmind originally came out in May. Yeah. Because the second it came out, there was the Black Spindle catalyst in the database. We thought it was. I'm saying Black Spindle on purpose because at the time we didn't know Whisper the Worm existed.
Yeah.
So all we knew was that Black Spindle was somewhere in the game, but where in the world is it? And it led to this gigantic goose chase over the next couple months where we all different parts of the game we were speculating where it might be. There was a time they thought it was the Braille that was on Mars. There was a time that with the there was strike specific loot in every single strike, but then the Zol strike only had the transmit effects, and then we were in the Zol strike trying to figure out if it was in the Zol strike, and we find these weird pyramids. It's like, what in the world are these? Do they have anything to do with anything? And just this whole goose chase that ended up bearing fruit to Whisper the Worm actually coming. And then the whole process of with the strike with Zol and everybody being like, why in the world is Zol dead? And then hearing Zol in that mission, and then just the buildup of the music and just everything. And like, it was just like, if you were there from the whole story of like Whisper in that Warmind, like May to August period, that was a beautiful time.
It was crazy. Everybody was.
And that's why I was so raring to help with it. I was like, I love this mission. Let's get everybody. I want everybody to have to Whisper. I want everybody to understand like what, like this is like, I thought it was so cool. So I was really, really pumped when it came out. There's a whole story to that weapon.
What was really interesting for me is switching from D1 to D2. When Jay and I went back and started playing D1 over again, for those that don't know, we went in and we created a level 1 character in D1 because Hurt, who never gets on to play with us, and a couple other guys were just
shade everywhere today.
Dude, I can't walk around without getting hit by a whole tree right now.
So they're like, hey, we're gonna start from scratch, and we weren't allowed to port any of our gear over from other guys or anything like that. So I was like, all right, I'll reload the game. It hurt me, but I deleted my Warlock.
You did because you tweeted it out, and
you did.
And then I went and looked at my main Titan, and it was so interesting to see that my loadout, I had like 5 different snipers on me. I use snipers all the time in D1. And then if you go to D2, it's a rare instance you're going to see me sport
Agreed.
a sniper.
Plus, flinch was really bad at the beginning. Yeah. I mean, we just didn't have weapons like 1,000-yard longbow, LDR. Like, there were just so many good ones in D1 and it took a little while for D2 to kind of catch up, I feel like, on the sniper front.
But could you imagine if D1 had catalysts?
Oh no!
And it would have.
Hawkmoon catalyst would have been glorious. Just
Redhead
saying.
said
as good as some of those weapons already are, I don't even know if I would have imagine.
Right?
Galahorn catalyst.
Oh man!
Hey, you know what? I'm playing a Night Stalker on D1.
Oh god,
that's appropriate.
Yeah.
I think the best probably could have been Vex Mythoclast catalyst.
Oh, could you like?
That would have been.
Go ahead, man.
I was just gonna say, in Vex Mythoclast, man, that was my baby. Love that.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Love that.
I cried when I got that gun. Let's just leave it at that. I was in tears.
I might have shed a tear too.
We all have a friend who's dying, waiting for that thing to come back. He mentions it every time.
And so, I mean, it's a kind of an interesting topic though, because people ask me all the time, "What do you think the next secret quest is going to be?" And I mean, we've gotten Taken and we've gotten Fallen, and we've kind of seen now that they're kind of basing these off of. Well, I mean, Outbreak was kind of attached to a D1 raid, and obviously Black Spindle or Whisper was kind of based off Black Spindle, which was kind of based off Black Hammer, which is kind of, also kind of related. But just in general, if we were to get like, let's say a Vex secret mission, then would they like ponder the idea of maybe either Vex Mythoclast or No Time to Explain, or if it was like a Hive, and the next one, would they try to bring back a Touch of Malice or a Necrochasm, or like they have different options that they could do if they want to bring another secret
all of
mission.
Those. Every single one of those options is a great option.
They bring any of them, I'll welcome them with open arms.
I find it very interesting still that like we're trying to stop the ship from crashing into the tower.
Yeah,
and we haven't been on the ship yet.
No.
We got these other Doritos coming our way.
Yes.
People. My wife was like, "Why do you keep calling them Doritos?" I said, "Some guy named CB got it stuck in my head that they're Doritos, so now they're Doritos." My son comes running in. See, the reason I pick on Hurt Locker is Hurt Locker taught my 7-year-old to go around screaming "Ya yeet."
Oh no.
He told his first grade teacher "Ya yeet" on a live stream. I was like, "Oh no."
Oh no.
So that's why I pick on Hurt, but. So he's like, we got these ships coming, and it's just like interesting to see where we're going to go. And I still want us to go to the Traveler. We've never been to the Traveler. Why has none of our content ever taken us to this all-powerful
the
being?
Traveler's not actually a place you can go to.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. I mean, it's kind of
We
like
need to
I
be
hear you.
able
I'd
to
love to see
zoom.
the Traveler. I just would love to just see the Almighty at this point too. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just
Yeah.
just to
Yeah,
see
that
it.
would
I
be-
mean,
yeah.
like let alone go on it. I mean, I'd love to have a mission we go like imagine like if
man.
it would have been instead of Heir Apparent being dropped with Guardian Games, which is kind of completely unrelated. And it's like you said too. There's like the Doritos are coming, the Almighty's falling down. Why are we celebrating Guardian Games anyways? Because
Yeah.
it's kind of
We're
out
not
of
really
place. It's like
celebrating.
aren't we about to die? Like should we be prepping for war? Like
You know.
Even
Steel war?
Eva's lines, her
So-
lines were
so-
like, yeah.
So it might be a little bit of a plot hole there, but okay. But in general,
We're about
though,
to get played.
But can you
That's
imagine
all.
if it's like there's some overpowered weapon that the Cabal are gonna use on us if we don't go back, take over their forces, and steal the weapon from them? We jump on the Almighty, we clear out the Cabal, we take the Heir Apparent, we jump on it off it before it explodes in the earth, and then Rasputin blows it up, and then we move
Master
forward.
Chief style.
Yeah.
Yes,
Full
exactly.
Master Chief.
back their bomb.
Full Sin Master Chief right there.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that's. I would love to see what happens. I mean, we still don't know.
CB just bust out the side of it, said, "You gonna learn today."
We still don't know.
Like Cade to appear with a Gallahorn in the middle of the ship, just shooting it at the
Hey, riding the Gallarhorn just all the way down. Yeah.
Riding it like a rocket. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
What
man.
is happening?
I would love to see some sort of new type of weapon in come out
Yeah.
of all this too. In September or something. Not a sidearm, not a shotgun, but
How about an exotic hand cannon?
I see what you did there.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
Heat hurt.
Something original, something to bring a little bit more. Like one of the things I thought I wish
Give me
Bungie
my
would do
exotic
more of
sword back.
that we just did. I mean, like we just did the Rise of Iron campaign, right?
Yeah.
Instead of just swords, give us some axes. Imagine if we get some axes. Like I said the other night, let's get a Dorito shaped axe. But let's
Sword
get some
gun.
axes or a sword gun.
You need a sword gun.
I hear you.
Gunblade?
Going back to the Plaguelands though, and going back, I guess going and getting to use those axes in the social space was pretty cool too. But
Yeah.
I agree. One thing that I did think brought Taken King a lot of life. I mean, I think you have a really good point there. Taken King was amazing for a lot of reasons, but one of the reasons, I mean, they introduced swords, and with that, we got 3 of the best swords probably ever. Like with Dark, everybody loves Dark Trigger and Raised Light.
Yep.
Like all 3, like everybody. Like I mean, so it is pretty cool. I mean, so maybe we'll see. We'll see that.
Can you give us a shield? Not just a Sentinel shield, but give me a shield I can wear on my arm. How cool!
Captain America style.
You get your
You're just gonna
Titans.
throw it.
You get your Titans wearing a shield or something.
So it'd almost
doing
be like another
something.
melee weapon, almost.
You could use it
Yeah.
kind of, and then you could have your warlocks with a arm guard.
Give me hunter
kinda,
daggers.
or-
I want hunter daggers so I can just speed around.
You know, you say
Or-
that, geek, and actually, I'd really like to have a flail.
a flail.
Yes.
Surprised
The
they
most,
could
most
pull off the
ineffective
two.
weapon in history.
Well, let's just go with Mjolnir. How's that? We'll go with Mjolnir.
Yeah.
I've been bugging for a kinetic sword or something like that for a long time to take that out of that primary slot. Like maybe I don't want to play with a gun today. Maybe I want to like run in and just slice stuff
could
up.
you,
Smack
could
kids
you
with
imagine
stuff.
if you were given a shield?
Nunchucks.
You had the ability
That's
to
awesome.
equip a shield. How would that impact PvP?
It would hurt.
Like Call of Duty with a riot shield. That's
It's
how it
basically
impacts-
Antius words. It's
Yeah.
Antius words. We know how it would feel.
We would not play Banner Shield in
Cool.
PvP.
I know how it's gonna feel already. I don't know if
Yeah.
I'm excited for that.
A whole bunch of
Not Titan Z crayons now.
Yeah.
Imagine if you gave him a shield.
but I do hear you though. I think that could be cool though. I mean, Forsaken. I mean, even if people didn't enjoy bows. I mean, but I think it was cool they brought bows. And I mean, just in general, I mean, I do like continue to expand the game. Now I'm sure it makes it harder to manage the game. So I'm sure they don't like doing that very often. But I'm
No.
with you. Even if it wasn't a new weapon or a new weapon type, like you said, Mackenzie, like, I mean, you said kinetic swords. One thing that I've been advocating for, because I love wave splitters, one of my favorite guns in the game.
Oh,
But
man.
I want
That's
purple and blue tracer rifles. I've been waiting for them. I
Yeah.
don't know when they're coming,
Oh,
but
man.
Bungie, please.
Yeah,
I love wave splitter. I'm sad I always got to use an exotic to use one. So
Frog.
That's,
Yeah,
that's true.
Battletoads is already taken. Okay.
I actually like really get a lot of joy out of running things like Prometheus Lens and Divinity because they're just so unique. So I'm totally on board with that, CB. Like,
Yeah.
the
I
legendary
want a
trace
full
rifle
auto
would be
trace rifle.
cool.
Yeah.
I will say I did not
Full
like
auto
I,
trace
full auto. I did not like trace rifles
Great.
until Divinity. And then
Yeah,
I went in and
okay.
started using the other ones because when they first came out, the trace rifles did not feel good. They really didn't.
well,
So I was
Prometheus
like,
Lens did
Except
for a
I say,
second. Prometheus
yeah,
Lens
yeah,
felt
yeah,
like
yeah,
it
yeah,
was,
yeah,
that was like
yeah,
having
my
a
friend.
death beat.
Yeah.
That thing probably
Skulls
felt
was
too
awesome.
good.
yeah. But Divinity felt really, really good, and that's when I started. I actually carry Prometheus and stuff with me now, so it's
Yeah.
unique.
Now, Geek, would you be opposed to a Spartan laser style trace rifle?
we have to try it out.
So like,
I can try it out.
It'd be
Kind of
different.
like it. I mean,
Say
obviously
no.
you could change it from the way Halo did it, but just instead of a continuous beam, just a giant poof.
Blink. Isn't that
exactly,
kind of what
just-
Xenophage is though?
I'll-
bit.
But
dude,
Xenophage is an
Xenophage-
LMG and it's explosive.
Almost
I
like
want
a
a
s-
laser.
Almost like a
Xenophage-
sleeper shot, though.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
pretty
kinda.
much like
Sleeper,
I feel like
1K.
sleeper, probably, right?
But Sleeper and 1K have like a love child, and that's what we need.
So, but then also like Devil's Ruin, then also because that was almost
Yeah.
like it
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
almost.
I'll
yeah,
tell
it's
you,
kind
out
of like a
of-
mini one.
Out of all the catalysts in D2, that sleeper one was probably the most brutal for me.
Oh,
For it to drop,
No, I had it, and it just took the
Oh.
longest time to get to.
because that one was what you needed to do kills with all three of the different
Yeah,
Akelos weapons,
thousands
right?
of-
And then
that's like-
after that,
yeah.
then you went back and Whisper, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I remember. Okay, cool. Yeah. Okay.
So it was
cool.
just like,
still
but,
missing the Akilo sniper.
but it was the hardest part was getting people together, and luckily we had a great community on our side. Ran with a couple people. I didn't know how to get it in the Whisper area, and I had one person. I think it might have been Killer that logged in, ran it with me, and helped me get to that box. So, because not only am I not the best, I can aim. It just takes me a second longer than other people, so I don't
But he
do
can't
PvP.
jump.
Is it jump?
But I don't jump.
Yeah,
I
his
knew it was
jumps,
coming.
I-
I knew it
That's
was
right.
coming.
Lion
I
ramparts
will
and a
give you props.
sword.
Are so bad.
I will give you props. That Doom run, you stuck that jump the first time. The second time, it stuck. So
Like,
My fastest Doom
jumps,
Eternal speed time
man.
though is under an hour now, so I'm good.
nice.
There you go.
But I won't play that game with my kids.
Spark says because you're old. That's why your
I'm
jumps
trying to
are
He's
get my
not
0
old.
hour
He's
speed
just
time up.
seasoned.
I'm leveled up.
Yeah, he's leveled up.
All right, guys. One question here too. What Destiny 2 plot would you most want to see resolved? Right, a lot of open threads. What's one that gets you excited?
Mm. Oh boy.
Man, there's most outside of obviously the Doritos that I really want to see what's coming here. Sabathoon's always been something that's really interested me a lot, and her whole story and just really everything about her, I really want to see resolved. I mean, I know you said one, but I'm just gonna name a few, and you guys can
Yeah,
also
go
chime
for
in
it.
on some
Go
other
for
ones that you guys would like to see, I'm sure too. But I really want to see the Dreaming City get resolved. That you can clump Uldren into that as well and figure out what's going on with him. But the whole curse resolution, I feel like that was such a like alley-oop slam dunk to be slammed, and I'm just still waiting for the slam. So Dreaming City is another one that I'd really like to see. And then for the meme, because I know everybody's been saying it in chat too, I want to see the frog people too. We were talking about it a little bit earlier. Really want to see the
I
frogs.
see we're bringing
too.
tonight's stream over.
I really want to see the but that's a joke one. But yeah, that's just based off some D1 concept art. But in general, Dreaming City, Sabathoon, and the Darkness probably would be three that I would really like to learn more about.
I'd like to. Speaking of Dreaming City, man, that just makes me think about. You gonna come and say hi? Okay, this is my son Calvin.
Greetings.
Hey,
Yeah,
Calvin.
yeet.
Hi.
Hey.
No, hurt. Don't do that.
All right.
That hurt.
Frame with the water
Headset.
bottle.
He
Someone
can't
get
hear
it.
Dang
you.
it.
Headset can't hear you. But like the one guy that got his light via just farmed the living. Remember, to close the door, please. His light via the artifact up to what $9.99. Thinking
Yeah.
that might do it, and I was like, I was like,
That was Bagel.
Yeah.
Bagel did that.
Yeah,
that was just
Did
like-
you watch the build up to that? I mean, they were
Yeah.
between him and then
There's two of
like
his buddies, right?
yeah, they were in that
Yeah,
lost
it was-
sector like it was their job. I believe it was 20 hours a day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they.
yeah, that's
20 hours a day.
That was crazy how much time they put into it, and then all that build up, and it was just like, and then Bungie trolled him. I was like, okay,
Fair.
Yeah.
but I would love to see the resolution on that one, definitely. And I would like to see. I want to learn more about the Traveler. I want some Traveler history. I want some lore to take me in. He's up there. This. Do we get to go save him? Do we get to go on there? We get to learn. I would love to see that part of it. But there's a lot of lore left to go and discover that people don't knows out there because they don't take the time to do that. They just want to play the game, go blow stuff up, and not learn the history of the game, which is kind of a little disappointing sometimes. But
we need a Hunter Vanguard resolution. We're still missing one.
Aldrin.
No,
I'm in the weird area of
no.
Gambit.
Twisted,
this
what do
is-
you think?
This is where the rule breaks there. Go ahead, Twisted.
For me, is the Gambit storyline with the Drifter that we went through
Yeah.
with the Invitations of the Nine. Like, I'm like, that was such an interesting, drawn out event that I'm like, we did this over how many weeks? Is it 10 weeks or
It
something
was
like
10
that?
different ones.
And I'm like, I want to figure out where that's going on and what's up with the Drifter, right?
Right.
And
And
Kenzie,
even Marasov.
that's a really good point because, and then just like you said, that we started learning that it was kind of interconnected too. Because that final one, we saw the pyramid. And so, but just like you said,
Doritos.
so yeah, like I mean, I agree with you. I feel like we were and we saw them with Marasov too, like you said. So like everything seems kind of interconnected, kind of. So I'm with you. I really want to learn some of that too.
Okay, another
We
question
need
for
more
you.
resolve on Zur too.
Yeah, I was just gonna say Zur. What are your thoughts on Zur?
Man, Zur is an interesting one. I love Zur. Like, I mean, I've been like I feel like I got a special relationship with Zur because I've been doing like Zur streams since like D1. I love him. So but in general, in terms of him as an actual like, I guess a tool or facilitator in the game, I kind of don't like 100% where he's at the moment. And the biggest thing that I dislike is that Ingram now can drop the most recent exotics.
Yeah.
Because now if you keep up with the game, which like I know like most of us do, like the first week of Zur means you're automatically getting the only new exotic that's RNG in the new season.
Yeah.
And that means I have one less thing that I can grind for the rest of the season that I have guaranteed drop for me. Just like, because before, like if you remember, like, so let's take back when we were in Forsaken, everybody wanted like some of the like, what were some of the exotics that people were really like raving to try to get? Like there were some really like there were some decent ones that people really want. I'm trying to remember which one was kind of overpowered. I can't remember at the moment.
I mean, Shards of Galanor was really pretty big.
Yeah, no, people wanted shards. Okay, it was armored. Yeah, so people really wanted shards. There was Ursa Furiosa. There was
Queenbreaker.
The Geomags at the time. There were a lot of really good exotics that people really
Ursa was broken.
yeah, Ursa was
By a
broken,
long shot.
exactly.
Oh yeah.
But Zur couldn't drop Forsaken exotics.
Mhm.
So the only way you could get those drops, and I remember still like being so happy when like Ursa dropped for me and a few other ones dropped for me. The reason why I was
That's
so
what I did
hyped,
too.
the reason why I was so hyped was because they there was no way to get them outside of luck. And that part is something that I loved about D1 was that there's that balance of, yeah, there's some things I can get from raids or that I can get from quests, but there's some things that you have to just play and get lucky.
Yeah.
And Zur has eliminated that for me these last 3 seasons because the new armor piece that they've brought into the loot pool, I've gotten with the first exotic.
Well, you can.
Ingram.
Of the
Well, you don't even have to go to Zur for that if you carry over
And
your
the season pass too. And so
Yeah.
really we should have joined it together with season pass and with Zur. But in general,
See,
I think they need when we get to September and we get Destiny 2 Doritos edition. I don't want those
Destiny 2
exotics
should
to be available in
Yeah,
Zur.
I agree.
Personally, that's me.
I want to see Zur be more than just an Ingram vendor.
Yeah.
Like in D1, I go get my synths from him, heavy whatever, and
Strange
some other
coins.
stuff, strange coins and all that.
Yeah.
But I would like to see maybe more of a quest and storyline behind
So
it.
maybe what Mackenzie was talking about there,
Yeah,
right?
and then
like Gambit stuff.
Maybe use him to kick off and tie the Dreaming City Nines together in the Gambit. We know all about these people. There's the 9 out there. We know very little about them. Can we use Zur to start tying that all together? Because, that's where he drifts from. So I think that'd be interesting. I would love to see them do a little more story development on Zur. Not as a vendor, but as an
Yeah.
actual contributing NPC to the game, because he's everywhere and everyone talks about him, and he's got all this mysterious stuff to him. Plus, I would love to be able to have his transmog.
True.
Yeah.
But no, Mackenzie, I think you're right on that though,
Dude,
bro.
you
Because
rock that
I
face.
was more excited probably to go to Xur than I'd ever been in Destiny 2, getting to learn more about what the 9 and the Drifter had in store for us. I think that was the best 10 weeks of Xur, probably, maybe in the history of Xur.
Yeah. Like for me, I'd like to see Xur. For me, I'd like to him to evolve as a vendor. I would like to see him be able to reroll the stats on your current exotics or gear.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Bring back the strange coins as a
like
currency.
the twisted needles, right? What's
Yeah.
that? What did that?
Yeah, something like that. And just like, you maybe have like a 48 Nighthawk that's you're sitting there, but perfect affinity, perfect everything like that. But let's go in and let's say if I can get that up to a 63 or something like that, either I can increase it with curious coins or strange coins or whatever you want to call it, just currency in there that lets you boost that up a little bit, that gets your stat rolls up there outside of masterworking.
Yeah.
That's a dope idea. That's
honestly, you could even do it like one coin a week, and you can increase like one stat on said armor piece, just so they don't make it extremely overpowered.
Yeah.
Call Bungie. Someone call Bungie.
Really fast. Hey, not to drag.
Hey Siri, call Bungie.
There was a question in chat from Sir King HT567, and he asked the panel, "What would y'all be doing if D2 was not made and or D1?" So,
Hello.
the quick answer.
World of Warcraft.
Man. So I mean, I'd still probably have the same job at least. I mean, I was in college when I started this. I'd still probably be a developer. I can't say exactly where I'd be, but I'd be trying to do something similar. I don't know. It would be something else.
Nintendo.
I wanted to have something like I just wanted a family type, community.
See,
I don't know.
for me, I go back to when gaming was new. I started on BBSs, which bulletin boards. I was one of the original players for Ultima Online. I still, I made a lot of friends. I'm not a shut-in or anything like that. I have friends, and I go out and I do, barbecue, and I go competitions, and I get out and do things. But a lot of my close friends I've made through gaming in my 20, 30 years of leveling up that are still that, I've only met face to face once or twice. Some of them I've never met in real life, but I consider them just to be really, really good friends that, I trust openly in everything. So that's what I get out of gaming. If D1 and D2 weren't here for that, I would probably have found, like CB said, a different game. But I'd still be doing it like I did, World of Warcraft, EverQuest 2, Ultimate Online, do a lot of Dungeons and Dragons. I'm not going to lie on that one. But, it's whatever I think a person's nature, they're going to find whatever intrigues them, and they're still going to find a way to make their passions into a reality. So
nicely said.
Otto, Jay, you guys?
Well, let's see. I'm pretty sure I wouldn't be sitting in this chair on this camera.
You right?
True.
I mean, that's step one. Let's start that.
you should start with your computer obsession now.
Look, this is your fault. Look, real talk. It's a complete sidetrack. We're doing it right now. I'm actually building 2 PCs at the end of the show.
Was it me this
One,
time?
I've got parts sitting over there just waiting for everything else to come in. Waiting for the CPU and everything, but
Right on.
this is all Geek's fault. If I wouldn't have met him, I probably wouldn't be trying to build PCs now.
Yeah.
Blame
He
Geek.
You'd also be not in the hole a couple grand,
What I try to do is
Yeah,
my fault.
you're probably right, but I'd probably still be working on cars and stuff more.
Oh wait, no, you'd be even more broke. You'd have more time for cars. Never mind.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Stay with computers.
This is a cheaper hobby. Actually.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, it depends on the parts.
Have you ever tried to buy the original motor for a
Yes.
classic car?
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
true, this is true.
Let's just not talk about those prices.
My bad. Completely sidetracked, but
Yeah.
But
yeah,
kinda
I mean,
you
I
go.
would probably still be. I'd be broke buying car parts instead, stacked up over there instead. Yeah, we'll go with that.
Right on.
CB, you want to say something?
I was just gonna say, just to flip it though, it's kind of cool though, just thinking about what Destiny did do. Now that you just pulled it out, but then realizing all the friendships and how deep, like a lot of those friendships are rooted now because of the game. It's kind of cool to kind of just think about just like everything that it really has done to get everybody to this point, and all the friendships that kind of have been created because of gaming or because of like the decision to start streaming, or just like, you know, all those different things. Like it definitely makes me more grateful for the game and for content creation in general. Just seeing a lot of like how tightly knit you guys are, or like all the friendships that I've made and the friendships that everybody's made because of, you know, playing the game and doing what we love. It's like, it definitely like adds a lot more value to the game and makes it where, you know, even if Bungie's like, you know, if they're gonna, like, if there's a mistake or whatever, there's so much deeper than just like, you know, one small little thing in the game. Like there's a lot. Like,
that's it, man. And even through like content droughts and stuff like that too, right? Having a tight clan or a group that you play with like helps you carry through that stuff, or it's like this like connective tissue that like you carry throughout your life. You could be doing your job and all this stuff and have, you know, the Twitter community, your Discord communities kind of help bring you back in.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I think it's great. And also, you know, what you said there also makes me think about the guy that is the developer that's working on a project, working on a game, whether it be, you know, Destiny 2, whether it be, you know, like Cyberpunk or any other games that are out there coming out, or in the past, those crews that come together to try and take visions that each have and make it into one cognitive reality, how much passion they put into it. And a lot of times people don't put themselves in that perspective of what they want to try to do, what they were able to accomplish, what limitations they had, whether it be from up the food chain. No, you have to do it this way because of market research or whatever. But the fact that they're able to translate their imagination into reality for us to go explore, I think it's a fantastic thing. And so when someone kind of craps on what they've accomplished, I feel a little sorry, because they put into it, and I got to try to find what's the best part of that. I don't always like every game, I'll be honest, but I'll just move on to something else instead of trashing it. You know, there's no reason to trash a game. I mean, unless it's really, really bad, and then
especially when I feel like this game's done a lot for like all of us, like a lot for the people who sometimes are a little bit more negative about it too. But that's why I try to like keep it positive, just because I mean, there's so much that they have done, and so much that they're going to continue to do, and sometimes when there are mistakes, I mean, they got to realize too that they're only human, and that I mean, everybody's working from home, and I mean, talking about the developing, like you were talking about, just trying to make like a small scale application on Zoom calls all day and trying to be as productive as being in the office is nearly impossible on something small scale. So just on the level that like on a AAA platform, trying to do what they're doing right now and still being able to answer the call and get the quest out in the same week was pretty impressive. I'm gonna be real. So
I was happy. I was pretty blown away by how quickly they resolved the Felwinter's issue. I mean, that was
that's what I'm referring to.
That was impressive there, especially since, you know, working from home as well, don't exactly have access to everything they might have access on site and stuff. So I mean, in the end, still overall, it was still pretty fast taken care of for everybody to get in there and get their gun.
Hey Bobby, the killer Doritos that are coming to end the Traveler.
What Doritos? Epic. Oh, it'd be epic if one just like completely just came and just started like shooting at the Traveler, or
stuck in the side of it.
We just got a nice,
like, or some nightmares start coming out.
Wasn't there?
I just need them to do a flyby, bro. That's it.
Wasn't there the lore that the Traveler? Someone correct me on this one, because I might not be remembering it correctly. But the Traveler had something to do with the pyramids. Did he escape from them? Or had he come across them before? I thought there was some hint at it.
I think he had to fight them back.
No, I think so it goes back to whole like the tree with the leaves and the gardener and all that, doesn't it? And it's like, am I right or wrong? No?
Stevie's face when he said trees.
The only tree I know of is in Rise of Iron.
Call up the lore daddy, Bife. He knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I was just gonna say Bife did a video on this, I think.
But
the story of the Traveler. But yeah, I think he came to us looking for help running from the darkness.
Well, yeah, there's only one of
He
him
just saw
like
a bunch of dead people.
Doritos.
He was like, "Yeah, y'all are gonna help me."
Yeah.
BRB making zombies.
Yeah.
Right.
Functioning zombies. Hey, we are functioning zombies.
We don't need
so guys, one thing I wanted to transition here too, because we've been talking a bit about streaming here, right, and content drought, things like that too. Nemesis 77, lots of sevens, says, right, when there's a content drought, CB is there to make the content content drought feel like a brand new content with his streams. But I want to parlay that into a question a little bit about streaming, CB. What's your strategy towards content droughts? Is there any way that you position like creating content or learning new parts of your craft, right? Like stuff like that.
Most definitely. Yeah, no, that's a good question, because people do ask me that all the time. And so I kind of break that down. So at the beginning of every season, then the biggest thing is, seeing everything that the season has to offer. So we're going to play everything that there is to do. We're going to, whatever, if there's a raid, we're going to do it. If there's a raid exotic, we're going to get it. If there's a quest, we're going to do it. Like, we're going to do all that stuff. But then after that, because it's always like, well, how do you keep playing after? And it's always somebody new that's just starting the game. And there's always people that don't have some of the certain things done. And so for me, what I like doing, because personally, one of my passions that, I kind of knew it a little bit before in life, but I've learned a lot more now that it's something that I just absolutely love doing, is just helping people and seeing the reaction when people get something that they didn't think that they were ever going to get. And then, so that's really what keeps me playing after. So like you said, like kind of how do you position yourself for your strategy? It's more like, just in general, I play the game, and then after we've done everything there's to do, we shift everything towards helping other people do that stuff, because there's going to be people like that every new day is somebody's first day playing Destiny. And so there's people like all the time that'll be like, oh, like I don't have I don't have Outbreaker, I don't have Whisper, I don't have this. And so I still am finding joy in helping people get these first experiences, even if a weapon came out 3 years ago. And so that's been the biggest thing for me that's really helped with those times. And so that's how people can be like, well, how have you done Outbreak 400 times? It's like every single time I was doing it with 2 different people and having 2 new conversations or meeting 2 new, and like learning more and hearing people's reaction. Yeah. So the content becomes more in the people than the actual game.
Because it's like all of a sudden you get to, you're essentially vicariously living through their first re-experience.
Exactly. Yeah. That's the best way to put it.
That's pretty cool.
It gives them a positive look at the game when you do something like that for them as well, too. More so than them saying I'm always by myself, but then you take the time out of your day to be like, hey, why don't you just come jump in? Let's go run it really quick.
Well, I think it's also cool because I've watched some of your streams and actively participating in that, is that someone's, I wish I could do this, but you're on PC, and you're like, well, come back tomorrow. We're actually going to be on your platform.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden you're just like that person. You can see their tone inside their text, which is really hard to do, but you can just automatically all of a sudden they have hope. And they're like, oh, this is awesome. I'm going to come back tomorrow and I might get to get it to happen. And you're like, if it doesn't happen, just keep coming back. We're going to eventually get people worked through, because let's face facts. You have a lot of people that join in, and you got people just lined up by the dozen because they know this is going to be great fun. It's going to be a good experience. It's going to be positive. And they're actually going to be able to do something that they normally probably wouldn't have been able to do.
Yeah.
So I think that's really great, especially like Spires. I can tell you right now, there are not a ton of people out there that are saying, hey, we're doing Spires. Does anybody that's new want to come with us?
Yeah, I told Mackenzie too, it's funny. I said, we're going through it, man. I said,
oh yeah,
we got to do it though.
We're like at the end of the night, we dodged Spires, and we're like, okay, we're going to do one more. And we're like, oh, it's Garden. Somebody did have Shadow.
Yeah, I remember that.
I didn't have Shadow Keep, so I said, let's respin, and it was fire.
Yeah, it's like I have to say, Prestige Spires is the only raid I don't want to do it again. I could go with the Great Crew, but that was so. Oh man, I got done. I was just like, I was shaking. I had the banana hammock, and I was done. I was just like, I need to go. It was.
But no, I appreciate it, though. I know that wasn't something that happened overnight, and I do gotta just say, I'm just really grateful for just all the support that the community's shown, just to what we do here, and everybody's really just gotten behind what we do, and it's really helped to be able to kind of bring that experience to everybody. Because when I first originally started helping, I was just on PS4, and I was just like at the time. I didn't have my job yet. I was still kind of just coming off college, which we know college is expensive. So I didn't really have much. And just, I really got to say thank you to everybody in the community that really got that helped kind of us get to this point. Cause I definitely didn't just poof and have another gaming PC I could play with, or an Xbox that I could play with, or the DLCs or anything. So it was definitely a journey. And I'm grateful that everybody kind of helped us to get to this point where now we can, just with the click of a button, be on a different platform and be playing on a different system.
That poses a great question. What are your thoughts on crossplay?
It's something that I would love to see eventually in PvE, especially. I think that because of the complexity challenges, it's not something worth tackling until they jump into a new game, or else we're gonna see it lack. We're gonna see it's always cause and effect. So like if they spend effort on that, we're gonna see a lack in something else.
Yeah.
And right now, I don't think that it's a big enough priority in D2 right now, and not in general. In D2 right now, when there's already a lot of people kind of on edge that are like, oh, Trials is kind of not where they want it to be. The bunkers might not be enough content. We haven't had a raid in 2 seasons. Like right now, I think they have bigger fish to fry than it. So it's not saying it's not important. It's not saying it's I would love to see if they could figure it out eventually. No. But I don't think it should be their focus until we get kind of things a little smoother again,
what I found interesting from the technology standpoint is, you've got, was it Warframe or Warzone is crossplay.
Yep.
And they're seeing that balance, that it's the debate that used to go between PC gamers and console players, keyboard and mouse versus controller. Yeah. As those have advanced, that gap is narrowed. And with the new generations, the Series X and the PS5 and the speculations and the controls and the new controller sense controllers and stuff built in, I see that causing even more. And you're also seeing a lot more PC gamers. I'm not going to lie. This is on my PC. It's going to be interesting to see where that goes. But I fully agree. Bungie doesn't need to worry about that now. I'm glad they have cross-save. But in the future, I would love to see, are we going to continue to have games that are just single platform aspect? Or will you see developers say, hey, look, let's make our game enjoyable to all so they can all be together, because we understand Joe has a PS4, Sarah has an Xbox, and Sam has a PC, but they're all friends. They don't have the ability to buy something new, but the game can bring them together.
Agreed. No, so I think it's huge. And I think, like you said, cross-save was a first big step. And I mean, it helped with the streams, like, so much more than I could have hoped for, because I thought that every single time I was going to embark on helping on a new platform, it was also going to mean I need to level up a new character and get everything again, so I can have these good enough builds to be able to run Outbreak the way I can run it on my PS4 account. Because let's say I have Fallen repurposing, but now I need to go grind for those again on Xbox. But then now, I have a PC, I need to go do this whole thing again. So I'm glad cross save came. I think that was one big barrier that we jumped, and hopefully we get the next jump soon. But like you said,
I think
if it comes later, it's fine.
It's not something I see the community clamoring for, nor is it something I'd love to clamor for. Next generation, sure. As you said, we got other stuff that's dig in, let's support them in getting those fixed. Let's not give them a slew of other problems that they have to try and tackle. But I'm hopeful, and a lot of people are speculating, will there be a D3 or not? We'll find out. Just give it time.
Don't rush it. Just don't rush it.
Yeah, and I agree with
That's
that.
probably the best thing you can do for that game, honestly, is to not rush it, because, then immediately those people that asked for D3 are going to immediately go and be like, oh, well, it sucks, and be like, well, you guys
agreed.
You guys pushed it.
Yeah.
Yep.
What did you want?
And we don't want that, because that just happened with D2. We understand what it's like to have a game that didn't live up. Like, I just rather don't bring us D3 unless it's going to be that slam dunk off the jump. We don't want to keep going through this cycle. So
see,
I'm with you. 100%.
I would love
Bungie needs to adopt the philosophy of when it's done. I think that's the biggest thing that they need to adopt and take away from any of this, is when it's done.
I think the industry standard right now, and I don't think it's okay. The bigger AAA vendors, I'm going to say this, and this is not me being negative. I think there's a lot of pressure from the people that do the financing and provide that level of support. Are saying, you need to put this out now. I need this deadline. I need to do this. The most recent one would be the speculation why Amazon released Crucible in the state it is now, because it's still considered beta, but they released it as a product. And I think that's because of everyone being at home and they saw all the game rising and everything else. They're like, we got to get it out now. Was that pressure from the financial side? Yeah. And so, do the visions get forced out sooner than the problem is? And then all of a sudden the communities now are saying enough is enough. Stop giving us beta games as production. So I see, I take heart in when I see someone like Cyberpunk 2077 say, hey, we're going to push it back. We don't feel that it's quite ready. Being transparent on that one. or some other platforms say, hey, we're going to push it back a little bit. Sword Art Online has a new game coming out that was supposed to be out here that they push back a little bit, and some of it's because of the human malware that's going around, and some of it's just because they're like, hey, look, we don't want to give you a bad game. So I would much rather see focus on the developers working with the financial business side to say, hey, look, guys, we need to meet somewhere in the middle, so we don't constantly lose faith of our community because we're trying their strings and their patience.
I hear that, and we at least showed some small strides of doing that with pushing Shadowkeep back a little bit.
Yeah.
So now that we're not on Activision's kind of schedule, let's hope that it's like Mackenzie said, they'll give us stuff when it's ready.
Yeah,
and on their timeline.
And we've seen that. I think that's great. I mean, also like with was it Anthem when they're like, hey, we tried all this stuff. You know what? We're gonna keep Anthem running as is. But we now have a team of 30. They're going to go do this. They're going to take the base game, take everybody in the community's feedback that's like, this was good, this was bad. And they're taking community, not streamers, which I really like. They came out and they said, we're going to listen to the community feedback. They put surveys out. They put forum posts out there. And they're like, we're listening to the community. We don't want to listen to a couple of big streamers. Not knocking on the streamers, but they want everyday Joe Blow players. What was wrong with the game? So I think that was a really great first step on their part. I can't wait to see what they do with the game. I really enjoyed it, and I can't wait.
Flying was great.
Yeah. I felt like Iron Man.
Flying was great. That's my favorite part. And the stronghold, going into that spider stronghold thing was
so much fun.
It was fun. Like I don't think there's anybody who can fake that. The flying in that first stronghold was definitely really cool. It was just my PS4 potential. Almost exploding was the only part that was like,
that's such a good thing.
But in general, I agree. There are definitely good parts of the game. That, I mean, I think everybody can agree on.
Spinning up. I think I may need to cut this off, fellas.
Yeah.
You're like,
that's a new noise I've never heard before.
Something's wrong here.
But all I know is I loaded it. My son was 6 at the time, and he's like, Dad, I'm Iron Man. And I'm like, all right, man, let's go to town. And so I'm hopeful for games. I think that the last couple of years, the AAA developers have seen that people aren't going to support that, and I think there's going to be a bit of a shift in the perspective. And I think we're starting to see that towards the end of this year. I'd be really hopeful to see what happens and how it manifests in the year to come.
Yeah, and I think as fans of gaming too, we need to be a bit more understanding of developers and giving them constructive feedback instead of just negative feedback, because it's all right to say something's bad, but you have to say why it's bad, and then you have to tell them what would make it better. Because I think we tend to harp on this is bad, I'm not enjoying it, but we don't tell them why we're not enjoying it. We're not telling them what would be better, and we're not giving them time to fix the problems either.
Twisted, I love the perspective. As somebody that works for a pretty large SaaS company, I'm very used to organized constructive feedback from B2B, B2C companies coming at a product. And I struggle with how to help frame up for the gaming communities, how to teach the gaming communities or what the gaming communities would need to adopt in order to get there, because it could be both sides. It could be like hatred and vitriol that you see all over Reddit and Twitter, or it could be like fanboys that are just kind of blind towards it. It's a hard question. It's a really long-winded statement, but do you guys have any ideas on how we could help the communities as a general get to that constructive state?
I'm gonna look right at CB
That's
on this
what
one
I'm
and say
gonna
his attitude though.
That's I feel like the only thing you can do about it. And personally, I think no matter what, there's always gonna be a certain level of the people who jump the gun very quickly. And so I think the biggest thing is just, we can't control everybody, but what we can do is control ourselves. And one big thing that I try to do is always try to really keep that more leveled perspective, like that, it's A, it's not the end of the world. B, it's always worked out. And C, they're only human, and that mistakes happen, and that we shouldn't just be so quick to crucify people in all these different scenarios. And I try to hopefully do that so that other people will also kind of take that same approach, because it doesn't always get us exactly what we want, and a lot of times it just leads to them being in a frenzy and then making another mistake, just because then they're trying to fix something else and they're not really thinking as clearly as they could when they're not really getting feedback and they're more just getting the sucks.
I hear you, man. That came right to mind too, especially with the community quest fix, right? That was a quick fix, and as you push code out faster and faster, right? Especially in evolving world games or any SaaS type product, it's going to be harder to troubleshoot that.
Agreed. And so that's why I really say with like all situations, I feel like there's a lot of times people like they get some sort of news in the game, and it's in the quick now. It seems like it could be a lot worse than what it could be. But a lot of times if you unpack things, there's always like, you know, kind of a positive side that you can kind of take to a lot of those things. Like even just take like sunsetting. That's kind of one thing right now that people are kind of really, you know, on edge about. And
but they don't
kind
understand
of like, all right, this isn't good. This is bad. I'm going to lose all this stuff. But I'm like, what was your favorite? What was your favorite DLC of all time in Destiny? And they're like, oh, for sure, Taken King. I'm like, Taken King had sunsetting. Yeah. So I was like, let's just wait and see if they balance the game, if they bring us a lot of good stuff, and if the game is in a great place, then it's not gonna. Trust me, you're gonna enjoy it. Like it's gonna be okay because it's already been okay. We've seen that it's gonna be okay. So like with Taken King, Gallahorn left. And like, you know, everybody grinded for Gallahorn. Because people are like, I grinded for so much stuff, and I'm like, I grinded for Gallahorn. Like, I'm not saying that's okay.
We're grinding
again so it's
now.
not me saying that you shouldn't be upset about losing your favorite stuff, because that's natural. But I'm saying, but let's give them a chance and see what it brings, you know? So, and that's just the type of attitude I try to bring with everything, just in general. I try my best.
I miss Word of Crota the most. I'm not gonna lie, it's weird, but that was one of my favorite guns.
I'm with you. Word was great.
When we jumped on D1, he was like, "Oh, I got this."
Fatebringer was great, and I mean, I remember grinding Heart Mode 3 times a week, trying to get Fatebringer and holding on to I would stay up till 5 a.m. every single Tuesday on in college, so that I could keep the chest checkpoint at Vault, so I could keep opening the 3 chests, trying to get Gallahorn. So I mean, there were all, you know, we tried so many things to make sure we get these weapons. So I remember how I felt to lose some of those too. Like, man, that hurt. But I would do Spire
1,000 times for Fatebringer back.
Agreed. Yep. Yeah. But then I do also remember how much fun I had in Taken King. So I'm just gonna wait and just see how it goes. You know, like that's all we can do. You know.
Yeah. Love it.
I don't know.
Twisted, do you have something to say there?
I was just gonna say, like, I come at this from a little bit different perspective of, you know, coming from a WoW background. Like, it took like 16 weeks.
It's in that freezer.
Some things took 50 weeks before we saw them drop, and I'm like, there's this perspective of like, you gotta have this right now. And if I don't get it right now, the game is bad. And I'm like, it's not the game is bad. It's just that you need to understand that if you want this really good item, you got to be able to put the time and investment into that item, right? And that's what makes the payoff for me. Was like, you know, when I finally saw my Anarchy drop in Destiny 2 from Scared, I saw that after 27 runs. I'm like, that made it worth the while. That made it worth the grind. And I think that's what adds intrinsic value to weapons and items and everything, because I know there's somebody out there who is sitting on 200 Last Wish runs and they're like, I still haven't gotten my 1K. And I'm like, and you know that person is gonna like get up from their chair and go walk around the block when they finally get 1K.
Just talk to Vader. He's the one missing all of his 1Ks.
I still don't have 1K either. So
I did not have my 1K until I ran my twin brother with Twisted in them through the Last Wish. He got his, I got mine. Somebody got 2 of them.
Wait, Geek, I think
I've seen that happen.
Was I there for that, Geek?
I think you might have been. And Vader
was there because we had 4 1Ks.
Yeah. It was so crazy.
Actually, no, correction. 5 1Ks because Unit got one too.
Yes, Unit did.
Oh, wow.
We had 5 1K. We needed one more.
Everybody but one person got it. It was
the one who needed it the most.
Yeah.
Oh no.
It was so
rip him.
Favorite experience
straight
recently.
rip on that.
Say fat rip on that one.
My favorite experience recently was running Nothing But Air. He has a friend and his wife. Both of them have never done a raid in D2. They'd never done it. His wife had just started playing, and we're like, let's start easy with Scourge of the Past. And hearing her reaction when she got it on her first run. Nice. She got Anarchy on her first run, was really cool because she's like, oh, this is awesome. The raid was so much fun, and I got this really cool piece of loot. I'm like, that was awesome. Like, just to hear the like genuine, like new player experience. I'm like, that's cool. That's what pays off for me.
Exactly.
That's big.
Love it.
And that's why I help stream. Like, I feel like that's like exactly what you described as like one of the best feelings. I feel like for me in the game is kind of seeing those reactions.
Yeah, because we did a guy like that. He never rated D1, D2. We were the first raid that he ran with on Xbox for Scourge of the Past. he gets the curated threat level and Anarchy. Same run.
Okay, because that Trench Barrel back when Trench Barrel was everybody
he got
wanted
them both.
Trench Barrels. Yep.
First raid ever, and he got him, and dude was like so happy. He threw his headset, ran around for like an hour, came back, and then he's like, "All right, I'm getting off now."
Dude, there was one guy we ran.
He was like, "That's my luck for the year right there."
He was in our clan, and we ran him, and I can't remember what raid we did, and he got the drop, and he got so excited he threw his headphones, his Astros.
Yeah, that was TK.
No, and broke them.
No, there's been a few that's done that and just taken off. And then they think about what they did, and they're like, "Oh my God, let's do that."
Got to live for the moment. I mean, there's some times in the games and stuff. I mean, the first time we killed Crota and Orcs and all that stuff in Taken King, when we managed to finally get that mechanic down, I was like, "Oh yeah!" And then we'd go back the next week, and it was just like, "What the heck did we do?" Because we couldn't repeat it, and it just I just love that part as you learn, and then you're able to go. So or like the first time you cross the bridge. I just love that stuff. It's just first experiences are great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%.
All right, guys, we're running almost at the 2-hour mark here too. So I just want to focus us up a little bit here. I'm gonna ask a couple of just streaming related questions. CB, we got a bunch of people in our community that are just starting off. Mm-hmm. So maybe something that's about like how you started off, right? Got a couple questions towards that. Okay. Then maybe we can do a quick speed round, and we can look to wrap up just to help get this thing rolling here. But as a streamer, as a content creator, what are some tools that you use today that you can't live without?
That I can't live without?
Yeah.
CB chair.
Okay, yeah, the chair. I would say that. Yeah, I love the chair, but definitely my very first streaming PC that I ever bought. Because I mean, I don't know, it was like a simple for me, like it was more than just like what it's done for the streams, but it was just like kind of a symbol of just like really just trying to take this next level when in terms of I couldn't really afford to have the quality of streams that I had wanted at the beginning. So when I saved up enough money at work to finally get this PC, and I felt like then like the quality was able to be a little bit better, and we were able like I started like really going every day. I felt really good when I got this, like my first really big out of college purchase.
That investment.
So it was like that first investment. So I mean, I'm grateful. I'm looking at it right now, like thank you. Like, so I'm just like so like, but yeah, so that's one thing. Like, but one thing that I can't live without. Because you said equipment, right? It's like in terms of
things. What I'm trying to kind of like look for, is there any software or equipment or that like other people could maybe like pick up on that you use? That maybe
okay, so but my PC, but PC is not anything that you need. I mean, I streamed on a laptop for multiple years, but but I love my PC. In terms of some software, use OBS. I use OBS through my Elgato. In terms of editing software, guys, I never made the jump to Adobe products. I always thought that when I could afford Adobe products later that I'd switch to them. When I was in college, I couldn't really afford any really good editing software. So I went with Filmora. It was $60, one-time lifetime purchase. Bought it over 4 years ago and always brought it with the intention of maybe swapping. 4 years ago, still to this day, I still use it.
Love it.
So still using Filmora. If you need audio, there's no need to buy anything too expensive. Like Audacity will work. Still using Audacity. And it works great. Audacity's work great. OBS Free's work great. In terms of things you guys see on the screen, Streamlabs does just about all of it for the most part. Those are the biggest things, I'd say. The tinfoil hat, got it from Amazon.
That's the pro strap, man.
But those are the biggest things, though. I'd say like my PC. I mean, I love, but in terms of some software, like I definitely tried to stay within a reasonable budget when I started, and that was one thing that I learned. And is another thing that I think a lot of people think is that there's a huge barrier to entry in terms of like needing the most high tech software to kind of get going. But I mean, I really was able to kind of make do with kind of, not the Adobe products or maybe not the best of the best stuff. So don't let that be a barrier to entry, not having like, the exact setup you want at the beginning. Get going, learn some of those lessons, make some of those mistakes and learn from them. And no one knows what they're doing until they know what they're doing. And that's from learning.
Yeah. Trial by fire. I think
You know?
you hit the head on one of the aspects is people think they have to go have the biggest and baddest system to do what you do on a regular basis. And having done this for 3 or 4 months now, you don't have to.
Nope.
The AMD has done amazing things with their entry of their new products for 3300Xs. You can build a box for $800, $900 now that will stream and game just fine.
Yep.
And you don't have to have all that stuff to stream. You can have a PS4, you can have an Xbox, and you don't have to have an Elgato. It makes it easier, but you can stream straight up, you know. But I found like just going with the software, there's no way I'm doing Adobe products. I have a little more disposable income being the older guy, the Papa Geek, but you know, I settled on DaVinci Resolve.
I'll get you a walker, don't worry about it.
And in the Infinity Pro suite,
Some depends.
because I mean, just start doing it. You know, I talked about doing this for a year, and then I finally said, you know, I came back from vacation. I was like, all right, I'm gonna make this happen. I drug Jay along with me. These guys decided to hop in, and you know, it's learning along the way. But if you're not doing it, you're not learning. Just like you said, you got to go do it. If you
Hydra, I do as well. I just have my PC set up next to the monitor I use for my Xbox, and that's how I see all my Twitch stuff. I just keep the creative dashboard open.
Yep. And when I first got going too, I mean, I streamed from my PS4. Like, I keep all these up on the channel too, just so that like I don't want to just say it, but it's really like so people can go back and be like, wow, like this is horrible, because it was. I was the worst. I put it up. I mean,
you got to start somewhere though. You
got to start exactly.
If you go back and look and you
That's the
see that
main
the
thing.
viewer count on some of those have gone up by a couple, that would be me. I went back and watched some of your old stuff. I have to say, man, there's one constant between your old videos and this one. You always smiled all the way through, dude.
Yeah, every time, like, see, there you go, right there.
Oh man,
That's it right there, man.
Yeah, so you're bringing up a great point though. It's just one of those things where don't let a barrier to entry be either not knowing what you're doing or feeling like you don't have the best stuff. I was on PS4 directly, no camera at first, and I finally got a camera, and then it was like a PlayStation camera that just plugged in USB, wasn't too expensive. Read the chat on my phone, didn't have an extra monitor. What didn't have any monitors. I was streaming on my big screen TV and looking.
I know how that feels right there, bud.
And and you know, and I finally saved up for an Elgato, but I still didn't have a PC, so I was doing it through the laptop, and the quality was pretty bad. It was pretty blurry. But one thing that I noticed was that I was still like making meaningful friendships, in that the people that you meet, and especially if you go about streaming in a way where you're not in it to try to make some business, but you're really trying to build a family. Those people don't care about some of those things. It's about the relationships. And if you go back and look at some of my streams, people were definitely not watching because they looked good.
It was the value.
So it's the value and the friendship.
It's the person behind the camera.
It's the friendship. So you really just gotta. It's just really about how you go about it, to be honest. So I don't know. Hopefully that answers the question.
Yeah, I think that helps out a pretty good bit, man. You know, like because there's some people out there that that may be watching that are thinking about streaming too.
Yeah.
So if they go back and look at some of your videos too, see, like, everybody starts somewhere. You don't start off making like the best content, the quality, and everything like that, or even having a community to go with. So
100%.
You build that up, and then as you find friendships, like all these guys here, I didn't know any of them without playing one game. Like, I just met all of them probably last July.
Yep.
Yeah. But it seems like you guys have known each other forever.
Yeah, because awesome. You just connect, and then y'all just hang out, you chat, you play together.
5 Scourge of the Past raids in a row.
You run Scourge, you stop in the middle to go run Menagerie for a sniper and come back and finish it.
Bonds of War, baby.
You're facing the day one Garden of Salvation with Geek. Yep.
Dude, okay. Yep. Did Twisted tell you about that? We ran with Mesa. We went with Mesa Sean to Garden of Salvation day one, where it was still challenge mode.
Yeah.
That was horrible.
Oh, it was. Oh my gosh, it was hard.
None of us had hardly ever played together. Ever.
Really?
So we decided, we're just going to go. Yeah.
Was that the one on his stream?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I popped in a couple times. No. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
That was interesting.
But those experiences, though, I mean, you come out so much closer. Like, even if you don't finish them, like, I mean, just in general, just that whole coming together is like, those are moments you'll never forget.
That was a good raid.
I'll be honest, because I was working from home that day. I ended up taking PTO time. because
Did
Mason's
you?
like, hey, we need a 6th person. I said, I'm at this light. I have this. And he's like, all right, jump in. And I was like, hey, boss, I'm taking PTO.
Oh man.
It was just like, okay.
Oh man.
And then we spent, I think we were in there for like 3 hours. We didn't get very far. And we're just like, all right, we'll let Dad.
There's Mason.
Hey, Mesa, what's
The
up,
end
bro?
is messing
That's
in.
brutal.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's right there.
He just jumped in.
My man. Oh.
Said that, and then Mason shows up.
Yo.
Yeah.
But
The
no,
Gorillas.
but it's funny that you guys mentioned that because I do remember that day. I was also streaming, but I try to pop in and try to say hello usually during
much,
those.
my
So
brother.
it was. I remember. Yeah.
It was fun. I mean, but
Oh
we-
man,
we ended up
what's up, Mason?
having really good relationships, and I'd run with Mesa once or twice, and that I think was what actually started the friendship I have with him and with Twisted. Now, here's something very interesting. Believe it or not, because Twisted and I have similar IT backgrounds and some of the logic thought processes that go through it. Him and I bumped heads
Nah, I
quite a
hate you,
few
man.
times,
Oh yeah.
and we ended up building a friendship through that because we learned how to look at each other's perspectives and accommodate those. And it,
Yeah.
it's interesting how you can work through things because it's just perceptions and misunderstandings at times. But I think it was great. But it was all that. It's just a community that starts it. It's a great thing.
Completely
Yeah, it
agree.
totally is. It's super like. I mean, Jay, I knew before. I think Jay's the person I've known the longest out of all of this, except for CB, who I've been.
Sam.
Yeah. I've known CB for over a year now, man.
It's been well over that. As
It's like
crazy
a-
as time's fun, because
it's
wasn't
like a
that
year
like
now,
right
man.
after Warmind?
Yeah, pretty much. Like it was December of 2018, basically.
So it's almost been 2 years.
Yeah,
It's
it's
been a
almost been
long
2 years.
time, man. It's been a long time.
Yeah,
I'm grateful. I mean, you've been with me. We've just like grateful for the friendships. It's just like you said. It's been almost 2 years, and he laughs at all my potato moments, and I laugh with him. And
I'm there to backseat raid for him.
We find
Oh,
love
man.
for it. We find love in it.
Yeah, and that's it. It's like it's communities that kind of all built around that. Mesa I've known the same amounts of time, and Jay the same amount of time because I met Jay through Mesa and CB.
Yeah.
So yeah, like it's just been that the community built around it. So it's kind of cool to see where it all came from.
And it's imagine how diverse, how in different areas the communities are in, and it's all comes back to just a common bond, a love for the game and a love for developing friendships. I can honestly say I've made more friendships in the last year doing Destiny, even when there's lulls and we're starting to play other games and try different things. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
So, but we're at 10, everybody. I don't want to keep CB any later.
Oh, you're not keeping me. Let's keep
Okay.
going.
Oh, you
Okay.
good?
You good? All right.
Let's just get the
No
let's
breaks
just get
on
the
this
rest-
train.
I mean,
Let's
me
go.
personally,
Hourly.
you guys-
4 a.m.
Hey, one thing you learn about me is one of the other things is I never.
Hey, once
stop
you get it
talking.
going, he was like, "Let's roll."
I
up.
never
I'm ready.
stop talking. So let's like. I mean, I'm definitely let's at least get the rest of the questions out.
Okay.
No need
Yeah.
to feel like you need to rush.
Yeah,
Let's
if
make sure
anybody
let's-
wants to throw in
let's-
some questions, and
I'm thinking we do a little bit of a speed round here. CB,
Okay.
this could be for you. If other guys want to jump in quick too, we could try and manage 7 people on the mic. But I got a list of questions, just gonna try and rattle them off. Quick
Let's do it.
answers.
Let's do it.
For our guys, take a look in the chat for questions from chat, and
Okay.
we can
All
put
right,
those in at the
I'll
tail
keep
end.
an eye on that.
20 words or less.
20 words or less. That's tough for me.
Yeah, it's gonna be quick, right? We're gonna ask the next one right after.
Doritos
Favorite-
and potato. That's it.
First question. But favorite game to play off stream?
Not Destiny.
Mario Galaxy or Mario 64.
Nice.
What is your
Nice.
favorite genre
Respectable
of game?
choice.
Mhm.
Outside
Hot
of
dogs or
Destiny, it's
cheeseburgers?
definitely not
I'm going RPG.
FPS. I mean, I'm definitely either going RPG or just whatever category you want to put Mario 64 in because it's the best game of all time.
Yeah, you.
Wait,
Alright, this is
Hot
a
dogs and
good one.
cheeseburgers from
music
yeah,
career?
chat.
Somebody here call him music career?
Oh, you haven't heard CB's
yeah, talk
music?
about his
Yeah,
Dude, legit.
So
Oh.
so started making music in rapid fire, right? 20
Mhm.
words or less,
Yep.
right?
Yeah, Kubrick.
Started dabbling with music a little bit in high school. Made a few songs with some of my best friends in college. We recorded it in my closet and just on Audacity and with the mic I use for YouTube. Finally decided with my best friend Tyler to start making some songs around the channel. We ended up making Space again, Joker's Wild and Moon's Haunted, and I honestly never could have imagined that you guys would like any of them. So the positive support you guys have given to the music much love. I'm glad you guys like it, and we'll see if we can make some other Doritos.
So that's what's on the
Yikes.
SoundCloud, right? That's on SoundCloud.
It's on the SoundCloud.
Okay.
A few are on all platforms. It just depends on if the producers will actually let me buy the beats.
Okay.
Because I want to get in any trouble.
Yeah,
So, Mesa has a question for you.
Mesa.
Mesa.
My question: what is CB's favorite exotic gun in the game? And hint: there's only one answer.
Baiting.
So there's two for two different reasons. Like for the gun that's got the most attachment to me, Whisper.
Okay.
And then because I feel like there was only one really exotic that felt meaningful to me back when D2 was in vanilla, which was Legend of Acreus. I also had a really big tie in that at the beginning because all the other exotics felt kind of a little meh. But Whisper.
That was not what
Let's
Mesa
see what
was
he
going
says.
for.
Where you
I
going,
know what
Mesa?
Mesa-
Probably gonna say
I'm
outbreak.
that unsubscribe button right now.
Mesa, don't hate me, Mesa. Don't hate me.
Wrong.
Mesa, you know how much I've been running
Wrong.
Whisper. He knows.
Outbreak. It's got to be
knows how
outbreak.
much-
It's outbreak, man. It's outbreak.
Oh,
You said blocked.
after how long we've
You
been
are
friends.
unfollowed.
Unfollow, reported.
Oh man.
Oh man.
Big
Yikes.
shout out to Mesa too. Mesa's such a nice guy, amazing
he is.
creator. and
Absolutely. Thank
It's
you
been
for
so
jumping
great having him as a
Outbreak
friend.
perfected
It's
is
been
the
so
only way. I
great
love
having him.
Outbreak.
And I've been so great with the I'm so thankful for the friendship we have too, Mesa. And kind of figuring out some of the YouTube streaming stuff together it's been a lot of fun just dabbling around. So
Right on.
love you, my man. Next,
All right, keeping this
I don't
thing
wanna-
going.
I
Hey,
was
hold on.
one of two.
Hydra wants to know what's your preferred D2 Crucible game mode.
Am I allowed to say one that's D1 style or no? I mean, I kind of was pretty happy to
Well,
have
D2.
elimination back, but I guess if you're not gonna say elimination, then probably let's just go survival.
Awesome. Who that you know has the best beard?
Oh man.
Oh no.
This could cause a fight, and I am down for all of it.
I think
Jay,
this-
just say Jay. Just say Jay.
He just sat back and was like,
Hey,
Oh, man.
hey, you're one to talk, babyface.
"Hey,
There's,
Oh.
there's too many good beards to
Okay.
put it into one.
Quick, we gotta go
Hold
quick
on,
here.
hold on.
Come
CB,
on.
You need to know this. We were doing the stream one night. Angle had decided not to shave. He had a little bit of peach fuzz going. While on stream, his girlfriend was watching and started a GoFundMe to buy razors for him.
Oh.
Yes.
That was great. It was awesome.
And your answer is. Come on.
So
Oh,
just
I-
go with yours. Just
we'll
go
go
with yours.
we'll go up
CB
Mackenzie.
beard.
We'll go up
Mackenzie.
Mackenzie's beard.
All
There
right.
we go.
Good. All right, I caught you playing Mario Kart music on your stream this week.
Yes.
Who is your favorite Mario Kart racer?
Growing up, I guess I was always Mario. I guess I'm a plain potato. I don't know. I liked some of the other racers, but I always found myself using Mario growing up.
Enough.
All right.
Controller or mouse and keyboard?
Controller, more so because even if I want to start dabbling with mouse and keyboard, I don't really like the idea of playing Destiny differently every single day. I kind of like sticking to one thing. And since I'm only on PC once every 3 days, I like to keep it somewhat consistent.
Awesome.
All right, so Derpy says, would you want game modes like Rift back?
I would love it. Would love Rift. Also, they could bring back the gigantic game modes where we had the tanks and everything that we could
Big team
use.
battle?
The
One
different.
second,
Sorry,
Hash.
You remember the old game mode, and then I feel like there's one other there's
Sparrow
one other
Racing.
SRL,
Oh,
man. Sparrow
SRL
Racing.
for sure. But what was
yeah.
there one other Crucible game mode that I'm missing? Rift, and then it'll come back to me. We can keep going.
Should Bungie stop bringing back content from D1?
I think it's always gonna be a mix. I mean, if it's a question of it's either there's not going to be anything at all or there's going to be something from D1, I'd rather have something than nothing. So I mean, as long as they can kind of somewhat limit it, I'm okay.
Or
But I
give it a
mean,
new
if
spin?
it's an option between we get 2 exotic quests, or if they can't bring a D1 weapon in, there's only going to be one. I'm gonna take 2 every day of the week.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so here's another question for you. Do you think it's better to continue with D2 or at this point roll D3 from Hasher?
Personally, I think if they tried to roll D3, it wouldn't be ready at the moment.
Yep.
Keep going on, develop it later. They just lost Activision. I'm not looking.
Beautiful.
I don't want them
Yeah.
to throw in a new game.
I like
They're just
the
gonna go
answer.
right back in the same cycle.
Beautiful answer.
It's O-Date. We call them O-Date.
O-Date wants to know, what do you think the September DLC is going to be?
Frogs.
Frogs.
Just, I think it's seeming like at least that they're setting us up for some sort of darkness related story. I don't know what, but let's go with something pyramid related, even if they're not the main focus.
Let's hope it's not Cabal.
How about what if they open
Big
it up
frogs.
to revisit Prison of Elders?
I'd be
That's
all
from
for it.
Salty.
Maybe bring a couple new Prison Elder style weapons. I thought they were some great ones. Lord of Wolves,
Oh, yeah.
Queenbreaker, and Dreg's Promise were all great. Maybe bring in a fourth one. Who knows? I'd be down for it.
Okay,
All right, I got one too. Who should have won Guardian games?
Titans.
Warlock.
Titan.
Titans.
All right. 3 more from me, and then we can go back to chat. Pick
Okay.
one expansion: Taken King, Forsaken, or Shadowkeep.
Still gotta go Taken King. Forsaken honorable mention, but nothing is Taken King yet.
Awesome.
In my opinion.
One game mode survives: Vanguard Strikes, Crucible, or Gambit.
I'm in love with strike specific loot. Please bring it back, Bungie. Has to be strikes.
Awesome.
Amen on that.
Final one from me:
Nice.
Uldren Sov, Martyr, or Future Vanguard.
Oh,
There's one right answer to this
No,
question.
there's actually not. There's not.
not a right
This is actually a 2-part answer. If they just instantly made him the Hunter Vanguard, I'd be disappointed. So
But
if they
there's
are
a
going to
great
do it,
character arc.
there's
It's a
a right
redemption
answer to this,
arc.
in my opinion. There's my opinion.
good
I'm
one.
just joking. This is my opinion. I think he should be a martyr, and I think there should be this balance between Zavala and Nikora hating him and the resentment versus the redemption of him trying to redeem himself
Exactly.
for something that he doesn't even remember. So that would be even crazy because he'd have to redeem himself on something he doesn't remember. So then the darkness comes, he saves them or something, and there's this battle between them hating him trying to redeem himself for something he can't remember, and then eventually becomes the Vanguard.
Yeah,
But if
I
it's
like that a
just,
lot.
if it's
For
just like
Aldrin.
Blink and he's the Vanguard, I'm gonna be like,
I still
like that a lot.
wanted
Yeah.
Shiro to be coming out
Shiro's
of the
cool too.
Yeah,
Shiro's
so,
cool too. Shiro's too cool.
But
Shiro's cool too.
so
Hopefully, yes. I would like both. I would not like him just assuming the role. That wouldn't work
Yeah.
for me.
work
Awesome.
for it.
all right. So
He's gonna make up for his damage.
barbecue or sushi?
Ooh,
I see. I know what he's picking. Come on, I know what
bro.
you're picking, man.
I went through your Twitter, dude. So I have to know barbecue.
Is it the
Oh,
barbecue
man.
you put on the Twitter the other day? I might have to.
Come on, CB. You know what you're picking.
Dude, sushi is one of my favorite things on this planet.
Oh.
man.
Yeah.
I might have to
Sushi.
go get
Well, you
some
said
sushi.
it.
So I have to be
I
honest.
love barbecue though, man. It's tough. I mean, I love a
Okay,
good
see,
brisket.
I love
tough.
I
This is tough.
love sushi. Okay, and
I
I'm
love
in
it.
Texas and I do competition barbecue. But I went to Japan where my sister-in-law lives. We were there for 3.5 weeks,
Ooh.
and they do some amazing
Oh, I can only
sushi.
imagine. Oh,
It,
dude, I want to
it
go.
has ruined sushi here. Don't. If you love sushi here,
Oh, I'm never gonna love
and
it
you
again.
go over there and you have it and you come back here, you're not going to find anything on level. They're not allowed.
Then he'll just stay in
the
Japan.
restaurants,
Problem solved.
none of them were allowed to serve any type of fish that had ever been frozen. Everything was 100% fresh. It was so weird, and the diversity.
But now I want to go.
Oh man, it's so,
See,
This sounds
I'm
like
just gonna-
heaven.
I'm
It sounds
just
like
gonna raise
what,
you
what is
one
this
thing.
land that I haven't visited?
it's so worth it.
a lot
Barbecued
different.
eels sushi. Barbecued eel sushi. That's all I'm saying. See you later, geek.
but sushi's one of my. I mean, a lot of people know that I have a very strong relationship with
I know.
sushi, so I'm gonna go with it. But love me some brisket.
Okay,
So okay.
that's on the pit, by the way.
Mm.
Brisket,
You just had to tell him that. He was
brisket
like,
and ribs. Ribs are in the menu tomorrow.
All right, question now. Turn around for you guys. What made you want to start this podcast? One from every single person. What made you guys want to not even just get into podcasting,
Honestly-
but just getting into just bringing
all right,
content
so
to
for
other people?
me
in
and
general?
Geek, like we started talking about this in July of last year about streaming, possible podcast, maybe just Destiny, and then it turned into something more.
Mhm.
And so the more we talked about it, the more I was like, man, that'd be really cool because like I don't just play FPSs. I've got a love for story games, like single player story driven games, that amazing story games. So I was
Yeah.
like, man, it'd be really great if I could just share that with the world.
Yeah,
And so this is the one way we started looking at for me personally to do it.
that's dope, man.
So that was the outlet I had for it. And I was like, yeah, that'll work. And then the more I talked to Geek, and I think something just
Everything okay?
broke. No, there's a
Loud noises.
lightning storm outside.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
I mean, so there's a tree that just kind of. I'll use chainsaw in the morning. It's fine.
For me, it was, being the old guy, the papa geek.
Dad.
I get asked like, I've been in computers.
You're not
for,
muted this time, Hurt.
Been in computers and everything for years, and get asked a lot of questions in that aspect. and then trying to get people to come together and just to develop the friendships is the main reason that I just wanted to start. It's always something I've been interested in and never taken the chance or the opportunity or the risk. I'm going to say risk because it's a lot that goes into it. People don't understand the commitment that you have to make. They're like, oh, you just turn it on and you go do your thing. It is nothing like that. You see 2 hours of gameplay. You don't see the 6 to 8 hours behind the screen pulling your hair out. But one of the hardest things I've learned is when you start going into ventures like this is to be very open in your communications with people. We lost one member of our podcast. We started out with 6 and it was unfortunate. He's missed. And so as we learn and we grow, it's one of those things that you just have to go through, but try to be open and share it. And I love the passion behind games. I've been doing it for years. And I just want to make more friendships. It's just like you started. I mean, the best way for me to make friends and reach out, share what I might have learned that they might be interested in is one thing, but being able to meet all sorts of new interesting people from all over the world. I have best friends in Brazil from World of Warcraft. I have friends in Singapore, Japan, Russia, Germany, everywhere. It's just an amazing way to meet people and develop those friendships.
Well said.
I'll throw my little piece out. So back, I mean, this is going to be thrown way back. Whenever Periscope was a thing for Twitter, I used to have a solid Periscope following for whatever reason, because I would just sit in my living room and just talk and like look at chat and just like talk to, people and address whatever they're talking about. So that was something that I've always, kind of been interested in is like the streaming aspect of it. And as far as a podcast goes, I have a rather irritating love for gaming whenever I have the time, and just being able to sort of share like my perspectives, be it as noob and not pro as it is, but freaking met Geek and Jay through that awesome raid where Nathan decided to shard his freaking anarchy, and they're great guys, and it's like, man, like they started kind of talking about it. I'm like, hey, I'd be down to hop in on that and kind of add my voice to the conversation, and then it's just kind of taken off from there. I love it. Very cool. It's a lot of fun.
Very cool.
For me, it was tough. Like, there's a lot of reasons why I wanted to start out with a podcast. I mean, I've been gaming since I can remember. It has been one of the biggest impacts on my life in many positive ways, and especially being able to take that to a bigger audience and take our ideas and thoughts on games, the way things should be done, the way we think things should be done, our opinions, and just as, not only a group of random people, but like as a group of friends, be able to just discuss these things with the world and put what we think out there and see what people like, see what people don't like, get our opinions from followers, test things out. You never know what you're going to learn. You never know what you're going to play next. It brings kind of an interesting thing to gaming, more than just, hopping on your computer and just playing whatever you play all the time.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I'd say for me, it was kind of about creation in a way. Like, I've been working my whole life. I work for other people. I do projects and integrations for all these customers, and none of it's my own or a piece of my own. And this was an opportunity that presented itself, and it could like let me dive into this creative side that was risky and scary at times. And it's really to try something and create something, I think, was like the big thing for me.
Cool.
And then we got Mackenzie, who we have no idea what he does.
Except for stare like seductively with that
amazing.
beard.
Stop untrusting me with your eyes. Stop.
Hey, I do have to say he did man up and still take a challenge, though.
Yeah,
He did. He did.
Crushed it.
We love you, Hurt. We really do. You're just getting picked on tonight.
Yeah, I'll do it again with Hurt when my bar actually shows up. I'll do it again.
No,
with Hurt.
I'm down to do it. I don't
Round 3.
care. It's been
And I'm
a
still
crazy
alive.
couple weeks. You guys
I'm
know.
still alive.
Yeah.
Hey,
CB's not dead. We didn't kill him.
CB,
so it's
we
good.
weren't sure because them hands was flapping like.
Yeah.
I was like, man,
Dude, I'm
It
surprised you
definitely- it
didn't
definitely
fly
did.
off.
But like the
spicy
thing was,
dance
but
was
the
coming.
good thing is that I did survive the whole thing without getting any water while it was.
That was
bad.
pretty good.
Yeah.
man. Good
Yeah,
kudos,
you
good
sure-
kudos.
I tried to
Yeah.
make sure. I wanted to make sure I felt all the spice. I didn't want any of it
So-
to subside.
hey
so
man,
What was-
I'll give you kudos for that, man.
What was really interesting
You're solid,
is when
though.
we started this challenge, we told anybody that went and got a bar that anybody that has
man.
the bar, they'll be on the stream. We'll bring it in and everything. So we'll say that thing again. We'll do it one more time because it's a great cause. Anyone that wants
Yeah.
to do it, since Hurt said it to CB, we're going to hold him to it.
Yeah, we're holding
Uh-huh.
to it, Hurt.
Hey.
I would do it again too. We'll come back and we'll have to do it again.
We'll do it.
Anybody that wants to, man. The Zoom that I have, I can have 100 people on the screen. We might be able to recognize you, but I think it'd be really, really, really kind of a cool community activity to say, hey, man, we got these many people trying not to kill themselves to support something that's really great. I think it'd be cool. So, hey, I'm weird that way.
I love it.
But
what's really
Mark
cool
says he'll
is
do it, though.
it's cool hearing all the stories, and I think it's the coolest part about all of it. And you guys are doing a great job, and I'm
Thank you.
really looking forward to
There
watching
you
the
go,
rest of
CB.
your journey, because it's only the beginning, and you guys are going to do amazing stuff. And I'm gonna be here every step of the way, watching people burn their mouths with chocolate, and hopefully we'll do that. We need to do this again too, because it was good. I liked it. I actually found enjoyment, and I like spicy foods. I was kind of curious of how it was gonna go. It definitely turned up my body.
It wasn't what you
Yeah.
expected.
But
after
we
you
lived.
back
though.
of it,
We
right?
did live, and we didn't eat water.
was the anticipation worse than the reality?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
That's crazy. It still was. And the initial, like, if you had to break down the whole encounter, almost like you broke it down like an encounter, the whole like chewing process in all the way to like the swallow was honestly fun. It was like we said that the swallows after that, like all your spit had all of the I guess the spice in it. And every single time I felt like I took a breath, my mouth was more on fire.
Or the
And then you
burps.
start talking, we're
The
talking
lips,
so
you
much
said?
that I feel like, the spice are starting to get onto your lips. And then next thing you know, I can feel my lips.
Yeah.
I got the feeling back. But
I'm just caught in my throat, man. Oh,
but it was I'm glad you guys
Persona
what's it
fed
called?
that
Had
hat for
this
a little
idea,
bit
and this
now.
is really cool too. I mean, it's a fun way to not only talk about a game we love, but I mean, 50 meals for one bar is that's pretty cool. So
Dude,
I mean,
what they came out with in that partnership and everything was just fantastic. I can't believe how far
So
that goes. I mean, $20 box. The box is $20.
Yeah, I
And the-
posted the link in chat, guys. If y'all would like to check it out, it'd take you right to the White Lightning. Can you bring that up?
Yeah.
and I'm gonna just warn everybody in Canada. It's for me. It's bank on 3 weeks minimum is what I'm gonna say. It's like minimum 3 weeks and work weeks, not like actual just
Thanks, bro.
21 days. Like bank on a minimum of
Try not to
at least 2
cover
work
up
weeks.
CB here. So, yeah, this is the link right here. It's a great worthwhile cause, man. We're not getting pimp prime or anything like that. I think it's just an amazing thing that it's $20 and they're going to, and you can see right there on the screen, their goal is a million meals donated. They're at 374,950 meals just from a box of chocolate that burns you. So
I'd say well worth it to me.
yeah.
It sounds
So
like.
I mean, I would
Just
say
get burned.
it'd be worth, if we can help however we can. I mean, there's other ways to do donations. You can reach out to like Feeding America directly and all that stuff. I think it was a great way to try and foster positive feedback, make some great friendships. I mean, this was great doing this with you.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think it's just a great way all the way around.
Yeah, yeet.
Awesome.
But
He can't help himself.
I gotta
Here's
say-
latest installment again.
Oh, well, I haven't done the other thing yet. I will, though, whenever we get to the end.
Oh no.
Get hurt some last dab. We gotta get hurt the last dab.
Hurt is our closer, so you understand. So he has a personality that he brings for certain closing statements.
CB, I think you're actually gonna like this one.
Yeah, I'm
This is gonna be
excited
good.
for
This is
it.
gonna be good.
Well, now you guys got me hyped. Is
Oh,
there
don't
any other
yeah.
final questions that we had on the list? Anything else
Yeah.
that I didn't answer?
Any more questions from the chat as well?
Yeah, anything else from you guys?
Hydro, I will take you to that challenge.
I
He
will
said he'll
send
buy
you.
500 bars, melt them, and chug it.
Why don't we just send him a bottle of the last dab, call it done, and if he does it, we're good.
What's that? Is that would be what? 10,
So that is
10,000
from
meals?
Hot
Would
Ones.
that'd be 10,000 meals?
That would be
That's a lot.
that's a lot of chocolate, dude. I would feel sorry to be your rear the next day.
That's
That would be-
$10,000 in
Hey,
chocolate.
Nemesis actually does have a question.
That
for
is
you.
a great
What
question.
was Nemesis' question?
Do you think Rise of Iron could have been a DLC for D2 instead of D1?
Ooh, interesting question.
We've actually got quite a few questions for you now.
Honestly, I mean, I've never had that question posed before, but I think that if it did, let's just say if we did replace Rise of Iron for vanilla D2 campaign over the goal, I think it would have been a much better success.
Oh yeah.
I've never
by
thought
far.
about that before. It's interesting point of view. So you're just saying
Yeah.
if D1 ended at Taken King, not a bad perspective. I don't know. I think it's they wouldn't have had to do much for it to have been. Honestly, I feel like D1 had a lot of things wrong with it. So I could see Rise of Iron being. Let's not say. I don't know if it'd be better in D2 than in D1, but it would have been a better first thing than the goal campaign.
Mhm.
We'll go with that. Rise of Iron campaign was cool, and I love the final mission.
What are your thoughts, CB, on Vex Mythoclast coming back in the fall expansion? No G-bait?
Honestly, I feel like we're gonna have so much going on in September already that they're probably not gonna bring a secret mission in September.
Yeah.
Like they usually seem to come on some of the like smaller expansions, and
Yeah.
I could only see that coming back probably in like a secret Vex styled mission. So I would love to see it come back. Do I think it'll come back in September? Probably not. But in general, maybe that. Or
I mean,
no
hell,
time to
if we
explain.
get a new raid.
Yeah.
I mean, that would
Two
be
new raids?
awesome, though.
Maybe a full
Two
raid.
raids, I'd be happy.
It would be really nice for Bungie to do like an anarchy type raid loot along with an Acreus from the same raid.
So like a quest and one that's not
A quest and a drop.
Yeah, you know what?
That'd be cool. That'd be cool.
I'd be down for that.
There you go.
I really would. Just to have another quest for in the actual
Give us
raid, like
so you can go
affinity and
quest,
stuff, you know, that
earn it, and then you can have one that you're just gonna have to go farm and pray you get. I think
Exactly.
that'd be cool. You got some
And it
reason
just
to keep
makes
going
doing
back.
that raid, more entertaining. and
you
more
would
thrilling.
continually do it though as well.
Yeah.
And I mean, I could see them wanting to be careful with how quickly they give out exotics. So even if it was a legendary that was like pimped out, I would be totally okay with it.
Oh yeah,
that'd be really
give
cool.
us
I
like a
agree.
little bit of an upgrade,
got
like
that,
Rose
need that
maybe.
perfect roll though.
Fatebringer.
Yeah, it would be cool. Mackenzie.
Yeah.
Odate says, "What was your favorite or best gun in D1?"
Ooh.
I loved back in the OG days. I really loved Praetus Revenge. I loved my Fatebringer.
I haven't thought.
Loved
about
my
this.
OG Black Hammer. In Crucible, loved my Palindrome. I got a really good roll.
I used the Ice Luna myself.
I never got the Ice Luna. I want it. Those are some that I loved. I loved Found Verdict too. That was another great shotgun that I loved in PvE that really resonated with me. Yeah, those are some.
Nice.
Living Prof.
JJ. That's
JJ.
Mr. JJ.
Yeah, I recognize the name.
Should Bungie delete multiple planets to make more room for new content? So
If it means a better state of the game, JJ, I'm for it. And as long as they can handle the repercussions of, all right, if they delete certain planet, what happens to the raids, what happens to the exotics attached to it. And I'm not saying that they need to make something they need to keep everything that's attached to them, but I'm saying, I hope they have a plan to
Be
accommodate for it.
mindful of what you
be
do.
mindful of it and have a plan for how other things are affected by that. If they do that, then I don't mind. Do I mind if the Dorito blows up Titan while we watch it? I would love that.
That would be dope.
Dude, you got the popcorn?
Right.
Oh, he's got Doritos though.
So
He's got
A cowboy hat goes, yeehaw.
This is the OG popcorn in the frying pan.
Derpy says, "Was Combined Arms the game mode in Crucible you were thinking about?"
Yes, that's the one.
Okay.
There you go. That's what where you could shoot, you could jump into turrets and all those things and get obliterated. I remember.
Frogs versus space Doritos.
Frogs eat Doritos.
Okay.
Frogs eat Doritos. What if they're spicy Doritos?
Still gonna eat them.
And they eat them in their mouths
Still
on
gonna eat 'em?
fire. Yeah.
Fire breathing frogs, man. It's
Hey,
a thing.
Win, what's
Frogs
good,
with
man?
regrets.
Hey, welcome, Winslow.
What's up, Win?
Yeah.
You win.
That's
Oh man, I
pretty
think
dope.
we probably, it looks like we got most of them, but I just want to, before you guys wrap up too, guys, seriously, I know we almost went 3 hours. The fact that you guys hung out this whole time, seriously, I can't tell you how much I appreciate y'all and
Man,
so much support to these amazing guys. I mean, this has been a blast, and I mean, you guys didn't have to spend your Friday night here. Like, I know that you guys got a lot of that you could be doing. So the fact that you guys spent a little bit of time here, I really appreciate that. You know how much I love you guys, so thank you. And yeah, much love.
Yeah, and we want to just echo that too. Thank you everyone so much for turning out tonight. CB, Twisted, everyone in the chat that came along. Amazing.
Twisted love the improvision, by the way.
Twisted. That
Thank you
that
for
was
ruining
good
your
play,
throat
bro.
for us.
Happy to.
Right.
Happy to.
Yeah.
And CB, I'm sure everybody follows you that's here, but if somebody doesn't, follow this man on Twitch, on YouTube,
Nah.
cbgray,
Nah,
on
we're doing
Twitter,
this the right way.
cbgray_, and Instagram, cbgrayyt.
If you do not follow CB,
And please reverse too, guys. If there's any chance you did forget to hit that heart button, I know it looks a little bit different than the YouTube UI, but definitely make sure to hit that heart button. That's the follow button, so that we can make sure we show some love the next time that they go live again, so we can throw some tinfoils in.
if you do not follow CB, there is the link to his Twitch.
boom.
Thank you.
Too easy.
We appreciate the
Screen
time. We appreciate everyone being here. This is great. We're still learning how to do all this, so it's trial by fire. But that is what it is, and we hope to be around a year from now and flourishing and doing more, and hopefully still bugging the crap out of CB.
You will, and I'll definitely as more stuff continues to
God,
happen in the game
let's
too.
go. God,
Somebody else's chat.
yes.
Oh man.
As more stuff continues to happen in the game too, would love to come back and eat some more chocolate and talk about some more of the stuff that's coming in the game.
We might have to send some barbecue and then
Definitely.
mow down that way. Overnight it.
Yeah, all right, let's do it, man. I mean, maybe another time we'll.
See, I can do that. I can't send this stuff to Canada. Sorry, Twisted. You live on the other side.
It's all
of the
right.
border.
We'll make a trip to
And
Austin.
thank you again for sending it, even though it burned my mouth. Thank you for sending this to me. I appreciate it. Seriously.
So he said he'd be on the show, and I was like, "What if I send you a box of chocolate? Will you eat it?" He's like, "Yeah, I'll eat it."
Hey, you wore that.
There you go.
There you go. Am I doing that too, CB?
Mess it up.
Holy cow! I got a whole ecosystem living in here. I need to get a haircut. I
Hey,
can't wait.
look. Hey, you got the opposite of what we have.
I do. I got it. I got it. I grew up.
Yeah, hey, we're growing this way.
Yeah.
We got the.
Oh man.
Hey, Twisted, where can people find you?
People can find me solely on Twitter at twisted_fate on Twitter. That's all. I'm new here.
Excellent.
And guys, if you didn't recognize too, to everybody's in chat, 'cause I know you know him, but this is Mackenzie too. Mackenzie, the goat. Oh, is this Calvin?
Yes, this is Calvin.
I remember names. I don't forget names. What's up, Calvin?
Calvin.
What's your favorite Titan or favorite Guardian?
What's your favorite type of
No,
guardian?
yours.
My guardian is a warlock. It's
Yes.
the only one.
Okay.
Way to go, dude.
What
Tried to
class?
leave
What
that
class?
question
are
But
we?
in Destiny 2, he's a Titan.
There you go.
Ah.
There you
There
go.
we go. That's tough.
He manages 7 to do Black Garden all by himself.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, but
I'm
I
impressed.
didn't get to finish it. It said it was easy, but
Smart kid.
kinda first,
Warlock
but
hype.
I would've done.
Warlock hype,
Chat
yeah.
saying, "Hey, Calvin."
I'm just
They're all
like,
saying hi to you, dude.
Yo, guys, can we get some huge Calvin love?
Let's get some Calvin
let's
hype
get
in
some
the
hype.
chat.
Calvin hype in the chat, y'all.
His true passion, though, he wanted to make sure everyone knew was Minecraft.
Minecraft shirt. I
He
saw
is-
it. You like Minecraft?
You like Minecraft?
Yes.
Here.
Minecraft Dungeons 26.
So
There
my
you
question
go,
is, has
CB.
Dad showed you ray
like
tracing?
Minecraft?
Yeah, he loves the ray tracing. We do that on the PC. They came
There
out
we
in
go.
Minecraft with the
There
ray
you go.
tracing. A
There's the
dragon realm. He loves it.
Nice.
Oh man. Calvin the goat.
Calvin the
So, guys,
Goat.
Oh,
he
man.
helps me with a lot of stuff, believe it or not. I'll start playing something, he'll come think it's cool and take over. Like the podcast, he just took over the podcast.
That's
came
why
in.
I
Geek's
think
light
he's the
level is
fan
so
favorite.
high.
He's the fan favorite.
And then there's like
Love
hype,
it.
hype, hype.
Hey, look, when they did the ChocoChallenge for Geek and them, like when he left, his daughter just came, popped up in his chair.
Yeah.
Well, Geek was having his moment.
He was having his
He was
moment.
having his senior moment.
I have learned that gaming isn't gaming without my kids or the like when we were
Calvin
kids.
for president
Yeah.
2020.
Calvin for president. They want to make you pres, dude.
Oh man,
You're a dork.
Yeah,
LOL.
oh man, that's a solid thing, dude.
this is awesome.
In the comments, just LOL.
So,
Yeah.
Angry,
I
where
don't
can
know
we
why
find you?
somebody said that.
You can find me at Angle of Death 392 on, well, now literally everything.
Okay, this guy's name.
What's
Committed to it.
Officially,
Calvin the
literally
Goat?
everything,
Why
finally.
Is there another Calvin the Goat?
Was it with the numbers on too?
Yes, with the numbers.
Okay.
Why is
I
there a
got
second
the
Calvin the Goat?
unlucky problem of having the only angle.
Ankle of Death 392.
We
You
see
said
what you
literally
did there.
everything. So that's Twitch too, right?
Yep.
Got it. I see it.
Yep.
All right, cool. Following now.
Meow.
Got it.
Jay, where we can find you?
Say again.
Where
Cut
can
up.
we find you?
You can find me at Unforsaken J, literally everywhere as well, except Facebook. On Twitch, Twitter, Discord,
Instagram.
Instagram too. Man, just everywhere, boy.
Forsaken.
Yeah,
My man.
I saw that follow from you, bro. Appreciate
My
that.
man.
Always appreciate the follows.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, I saw you. I saw you over there.
What's this?
For me,
Yeah, I've-
Jay's got a great channel. He doesn't know it. He has to learn to speak more, but he does a great job on his streams. Just saying.
Which one of you guys is Jay?
This is Jay.
depends on the day, man.
But who's this?
It really does.
That's the one and only cbgray, man.
You know what? I'm gonna say
the infamous
You
one and
John
only.
the
Cena?
infamous. Oh man.
Oh,
What I
man.
said, infamous.
I love it.
Spire of Stars
Michael
legend,
Jackson
cbgray.
plus John Cena equals
Oh yeah, man.
John Jackson.
Still never done Spire Stars now that I think about it.
Oh, we should have told CB that. Guess what time it is?
Oh yeah, it might be,
Yeah.
might be a Spire type of night.
I just said
Yeah,
I'm out.
so-
Gone.
Yeah, you guys can find me on
Already got it.
any of the things.
Hey, he already
There they
beat
go.
you?
You beat me to it, man.
Beat him to it.
Here's, you know what's something
Man.
funny, CB?
Yeah.
I had my YouTube handle GMD Geek before they made it where you have to have the 100 subs. So it went from GMD Geek to that weird string. I'm almost back to that, but I've had GMD Geek for
Nice.
12 years. So,
Yeah, no, there's so many things that changed, because I mean, there's like
Yeah.
the same thing that like the change in monetization, where like you used to also be able to have that before
Mhm.
any of those thresholds. There's been so many things that have changed. So that's pretty.
I think
cool.
it's for the better though, and I don't know if you heard, you're much more in the know than I am, but indirectly for some people I've heard, we should be seeing a change to YouTube streaming before the end of the
Yeah,
year.
I'd heard.
Yeah. So yeah, I do have one person that I do meet with every other month. So I'm excited for hopefully some good stuff
Yeah.
coming.
Love you guys, by the way.
Dude,
You've got such an awesome community. I cannot believe.
Man,
these
look, we've
guys-
just been having good vibes over here the whole night. It's been
Good
great.
vibes. What about
We want to also throw your handle in here quick too. Just want to make sure you get your plug.
Who, me?
Yeah,
Oh,
you,
you.
Eater.
Yeet.
Lord, yeah, no, you can find Hurt
Hey
Lockers
Jay, type in
What's
the
up?
comment. Type
Instagram,
ye in the
uh,
comments.
what is it? Twitter, here on Twitch. I don't do much right now. Please go over to our social medias. Obviously, at Press What to Join. Send in any messages, like questions that you want us to address on the next show. Where I keep trying to plug that at the end of every show, so we can get some community engagement and talk
Yeah,
about
no,
what you guys want to talk about, not just what we can collectively come up with between the
Great
five
idea.
of us.
I
But
got that too.
Yeah.
There it is.
thank you very
Oh,
much.
gee.
I was a little bit faster, brother.
I lost that one. I'm trying to be fast. I'm trying to be quick.
You got to understand, CB. Jay's cheating. He's got a stream deck.
Oh, I'm like typing quick. Going
No,
to
actually,
different links
Geek,
and,
I went and copied that
Oh, you got
and then pasted it.
Control C, Control V.
Two final plugs. I'll plug myself just slightly. I'm
Appreciate
on
that,
Twitter
Hydra.
only, autonomy AUT0NOMY. And the other plug is going to be for our GMD Geek Discord. That's where we have like a lot of good kind of community conversations. We do gamer fits. We kind of like help promote things through there as well. We'll get you a link to that because a little harder
I
to
got it.
find on Discord.
We
Two more
in
links in
that
the
Discord, it's not
comments.
about a specific game. We're trying to foster a love for all games, so it doesn't matter what game zone you're in. We also are trying to foster a community that helps each other learn how to stream better. And we cover all sorts of interesting things, but the biggest one that we're really focused on right now is growing a gaming community as a family, is also focusing on health. So we're really starting to trying to kick off a gamer fit thing, because we've all been sitting around doing nothing for 3 or 4 months now, and it's like, okay, we need to get up. So
Hey
Gotta
Jay,
get
look
those
in the
workouts in every
comments.
day.
Yeah.
So many eats. Yeah, you
So,
right.
dude, all of the eats, man, I love it.
Just get a yeet and a dab on it.
you gonna dab?
Yeah,
We
Twisted,
want you
we're
to
waiting
dab.
on you to keep hitting that one.
Oh,
Hmm?
So we was waiting on you to do it, but hey, you got it covered.
I got a dabinator. So all right, we love everybody. I really appreciate everyone coming to CB. Thank you for your time.
Marcus
Oh, of course,
on heat
man.
all night.
That's
You
all
guys
creeping
look-
faces.
Hurt is in
Creeper
heaven
faces.
right now, literally.
Don't
With all
touch
this
it.
right
You
here.
might get a
So,
explode.
He's not in
No,
heaven
it's-
till the end. The
no,
end
it-
is when Hurt goes into heaven.
No,
That's
it's
the
been an
favorite part.
absolute blast. I just want to say thank you guys again for having me on and allowing me.
By
to,
the way, the
come and-
Discord.
and-
Oh, my bad to cut you
Oh,
off. I was just
oh,
want to
no,
let
no.
everybody know that the Discord is open for
Yeah.
anybody to join.
It's not private. It's
Definitely will be joining that too. Let me click on that real quick.
Yeah, that
Nice.
might work.
But yeah, CB community, thank you guys so much for coming out. Twisted, thank you for jumping on.
Thank
You
you for
got-
having me, guys.
Thank you so much.
CB, are you going to be streaming after this?
No, I'm gonna hibernate. Guys,
Yeah.
one more,
Get some sushi, get some Doritos and some frogs.
One more set. I honestly have gotten about 3 hours in the last 3 days.
Go get
I
some
didn't-
sleep, brother.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
had
get
to-
some sleep.
Yeah,
Yeah,
brother.
usually Thursday nights, I stay up most of the night to do all my work so that I can stream during the day for the Zur
Mhm.
trial stream that I do during the day.
Hype, hype,
Nice.
So I
hype,
have to like basically get super ahead so that it doesn't look like it's like, well, what are you doing during the day? So that's how I'm able to stream during Fridays. So
that's cool. We'll get some sleep then.
But seriously, guys, thank you so much. Seriously, thank you for showing them love and support and just being as awesome as you guys are always. I mean, you guys never cease to amaze me at how positive and how friendly and how supportive you guys will be to literally whoever. And I just appreciate it so much. Thank you. These guys are amazing guys. I'm looking forward to seeing more from them. Hopefully you guys are going to pop in and see some more of them too. Yeah, you guys know how much I love you guys. I love you. Much love, guys. Seriously.
And thank you for sacrificing your tongue for us, by the way.
Oh, there's no such thing as sacrifice, man. This was something that I wanted to do, and I just gotta say thank you. I mean, you guys have been awesome and hanging out, and I mean, every single time I start streaming, and see geeks, I can see Mackenzie always. Mackenzie, love you, buddy, and just saying so many just friends every day. I mean, like this it's what it's all about, you know. So I appreciate it. Thank you for having me on.
Let me get a Discord link. They said the Discord link's not working. Hold on.
Already done.
Hurt, do you need to do the signature? Yeah, you want to jump in for the signature?
I'm gonna say it.
Do it.
Like, wrap it up. You want me to put a bow on it?
Bye.
We'll get those links in there, and then you can wrap this thing up.
All right.
Go. So CB, man, I'm just gonna say it again. I love you, dude. Thanks for taking your time out and helping us out. It's great. I love it.
Yes.
Of course.
So I'm gonna go ad nauseum with that. Thank you very much, CB, for hopping with us tonight. It was a whole lot of fun. Thank you so much. Thank you, your followers. You guys are great. Make sure you guys smash that like button, dude. Shit, brethren. But yeah, please send y'all's messages, whatever y'all want us to talk about. See, we don't know how to shut up. We'll just keep on going. Thank you very much, and we are out of here.
All right.